I don't remember all the words of that song.
Of course you do. Why would you not remember that?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to sing them all.
You know what I actually remember quite often to do?
Yeah, what is that?
And that is, hello and welcome to Nova Talks.
I'm sorry if he scared you.
Ooh, that did scare me. That was terrifying.
My name is Dalton.
He erupts every time like that. My name is Matt.
Yeah, and our special guest today is the hard to capture, Mr. Patrick Long.
Yeah, glad to be here.
We are glad to have you.
I am very hard to capture. That is true. That is the one descriptor I would say. I would say.
Is that much more fulfilling that we actually got you, though?
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. It's a little bit of a drive, but I was glad to be a part of this, wonderful creative experience.
Yes.
So how long have you been on the road today? Because you've been on the road for quite a while today.
So I live in Clarksville with my family when I'm not at school. So I came from Clarksville. I had to go sign a lease for my for the house I'm moving into in Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was an hour and a half drive. And then from Murfreesboro to here, and then I'm driving back after this to Murfreesboro. So all around maybe like 3-4 hours of driving.
Good Lord.
It's okay.
Extra.
It's a lot of good you time, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of time for me to think and
listen to music.
Marinate.
Whatever.
That's not the word I want.
No,
that's
actually, I like that. That's good.
Marinate, yeah.
You're just pouring just barbecue sauce over top of yourself
I was thinking
while
like
you're
a
driving.
teriyaki maybe.
Also a good
Spicy
choice.
boy. All
Teriyaki.
right.
Up.
There's
They're
the
coming for
police.
you.
Oh, they knew I was here.
Is that what it was? No, they saw what happened back
That's
there.
why I drove. Oh yeah. I don't know if he told you.
I didn't tell him. No.
I'm ready though.
So there's a place right next to y'all that the only way to get in. It's like this like single turn, and then there's just a gate that is closed, and there's not enough room to back up and turn around or do any of that. So I literally had to go off road and then onto the grass and pull off and around. And I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way, because there's a ledge off of the pavement.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, if I make a wrong turn, my car is gonna be sitting on that ledge. I'm not gonna be able to move. But luckily, I got through it.
He did.
Here. I was like, someone's gonna come out and be like, "What are you doing here?" Because it just brings me back to horrible times in my life. Did I ever tell you this story? I never told you this story.
No. This is our second time.
It's like our second time having a conversation. The first day of college, in Murfreesboro. So the fun thing about MTSU is that, and a lot of colleges, is that there's no parking anywhere ever.
Yeah, you got that right.
And especially if you're a freshman and it's your first day, you are absolutely screwed when it comes to parking. And, I didn't even have a parking pass, but my roommate was like, it's okay. First day, nobody really cares where you park. So I'm like, okay, great. So that means I can park anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's not true. And so I pulled my car in to this next to this parking garage, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can go into this parking garage. I figure maybe I'll be okay. So it's this super far turn into this parking garage, 2 lanes. And I get up there and I don't know how to operate it to open the gate. I'm like, hi. I'm like yelling out of my car. I'm like, hey, is there anyone there? Cause I'm the most afraid human being ever. And I'm just like, hi, is there any way I can park in here? And then I'm pressing buttons and trying to figure, I'm pulling my student ID out. What do I do? And finally this person comes over the intercom and she's like, you can't park here. I'm like, okay, well, can I at least come in and turn around? At this point, there's 15 cars behind me. I'm like, can I at least come in and turn around? She's like, no, you can't be here. She is really upset that I made the mistake.
I'm getting some Mean Girls vibes here.
She wasn't even being mean. She was scared. She was defensive. As if I was hey, can I come in here, park, and kill you also? She was literally you cannot be here. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm just a new student. Please let me come in and just turn around. And so I had to make a 25 at least point turn because there's a car right behind me, and I just had to and reverse all the way out of the other out lane, literally reverse all the way out, while all these this row of 20 cars, everyone's just looking at me and judging me, and it doesn't help that my license plate, my dad changed the name of it right before I went to school to Patty.
Oh,
So everyone knew that some dumb kid named Patty made the mistake of going to the parking garage, and he had to back all the way out. It was the most humiliating experience of my life.
So you'll be walking to math class one day, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you're Patty, aren't you?"
You're Patty,
You're like,
and they're like,
that's
"I
me."
hate you. You made me late for my class, and I will never forgive you."
Oh my god.
It was it was like the worst experience of my. And I'm already horrible at parking and like maneuvering my car. So like, the fact that I had to do that many turns to get out, it was hell. It was the worst experience.
And that was your first day.
That was my first day, and then I was like, "All right, I'm dropping out. That's what's happening."
done.
I was like, I hate school. I cannot ever come back here. This is the worst thing ever."
Oh
Yeah.
man. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Okay, it was humiliating. It was horrible.
hey, it's all uphill from
Exactly,
that,
that's what I was
like
gonna say.
rock bottom.
It can't get any worse than that.
Yeah, unless it like happened again.
Right.
That would be worse.
Or like you were in your underwear or something. then that
I
would be
was in my
totally-
underwear.
Oh,
That's
well,
another important.
That changes the story
Alright.
completely.
That's the important part.
That
of
and the barbecue sauce, I had no
yeah,
idea.
I was covered in teriyaki. It was a very strange morning.
Brittany was blasting through the windows. Everyone,
Yes,
I don't even know.
it was just like one part of "Hit Me Baby One More Time" though. It was just the "Oh Baby Baby" looped for like
over and over,
over
and
and over.
again.
Yeah,
The CD is stuck.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, we have lots of questions for you, Patrick.
Okay, great.
And
I love
I hope you have
questions.
the correct answers for them.
I
This
probably
is a
not.
test.
I probably not have the right answers. That's,
No, so like we said before, it was hard to get a hold of you, but for good
Yes.
reason, because you're a
Yeah.
busy guy.
I am
You're
very
always
busy.
doing something.
I do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, I always felt really bad at having to be like, "Yo, like, sorry, this is just not working out." But like, I'm notorious for double booking myself nowadays because I just like, there's so many people that. This sounds so arrogant. There's so many people that want to do stuff with me that I'm just like, yeah, I can do it, and then like, it'll like be the day of, and I'm like, no. I can't do it. Well, I'm glad that last time it wasn't because of that. The last time it was because my car was
Yeah, 'cause
giving me
the oil.
trouble because I had my oil percentage was at like I had like 2% oil life.
You gotta change your.
I finally got it changed.
Oh, good.
I finally
Good.
got it
Ooh.
changed. But I was like, oh, my car will explode, and I will
That is
die.
important. Bad things will happen if that's not
Yes.
changed.
So finally, I got it changed, and now I can do more things out of town. That was a weird way of saying that I got my oil changed, but
But you got to the point.
yeah, and now I'm finally here, and yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I do a lot of stuff. I shouldn't say a lot of people want to do stuff with me. It's more so that I'm involved with a lot of things already.
Yeah,
And
which puts you in that position.
yeah, exactly. It's not
Yeah.
like people are like, oh my gosh, Patrick, like we just have to have you like hang
No, you're
out with
you're doing this to yourself.
Yeah,
you love to torture yourself.
yeah,
is what you're
exactly.
saying.
It's very self-destructive in nature. But I love it. You know,
No, yeah,
I
of
do a
course.
lot of comedy stuff in Nashville, so that takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of obviously music stuff with my band, and so that also takes up a huge chunk of time. And then family, you know. It's
Yeah,
like the third-
and school as
and
well.
school.
Well, not
yeah.
not right now.
Not right now,
but,
obviously,
You know,
which is good. That's like a huge
let's a
weight
load off
off
your
my
back.
shoulder.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
40 hours off your
Yeah,
week.
literally, yeah. It's it just changed. It makes everything so much easier, not having to worry about all that. But yeah, no, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that I'm glad it all worked out, even though I am like very late compared to when I was supposed to be.
Trust. We've done a podcast. It was like what 5 a.m. when we actually got started.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
no,
right
no,
It was
on.
ridiculous.
No, it was 3 a.m. We finished at like 5.
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say at 5 a.m. like y'all like it's time to call it off at that point. Like
This
I mean,
guy's not coming, all right?
I mean, like, yeah. If this guy, he's really like, you know, he's really pulling our legs here.
So you said I didn't know it was comedy specifically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought it was just theater.
Right. So I used to do theater in high school,
Yeah.
and like, so I did Roxy Regional Theater in Clarksville.
Yeah, which is cool.
I was involved with them from when I was like 10 to when I was like 18.
That's awesome.
I no longer do stuff there because I'm, you know, in Murfreesboro, obviously, and I don't really have a whole lot of time for like recreational theater and like just like doing like actual. Like acting, like that sounds so bad. I don't have time for actual acting. No, but I do. I do a lot of improv comedy and comedy stuff in Nashville with Third Coast Comedy Club.
Okay, cool.
And I'm a part of their house team, LOL. One of their house teams, LOL Nashville.
How'd you get hooked up doing that? Was it through the Roxy?
No,
Did you find somebody there? Or?
So it was actually because I took an improv class back when I was like 14, 15 with the owner of one of the co-owners of the club, Scott Field. He had this teen improv class before Third Coast had even started, and it was like a teen improv class. And I was like, hey, how do you get your weird kid out here, and we'll let them do improv, and no one will judge them except for each other. And, and
which is true.
No, it's very true. No, but I remember like the first day I was like, Dad, all these kids are gonna think I'm so weird. And my dad was like, no, Patrick, you're probably gonna be the least weird one there. And turns out he was right. They were all really weird kids, but it was like
which is a good thing.
No, it wasn't like they were like strange. Like
no,
they were just like me though.
Weird
like,
is what you want.
We're all weird
exactly.
together.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really nice. And I actually it's so cool like seeing some of these people that like I knew back then, like growing up and being like adults like me now. It's just so weird like seeing people that were like you were like 14 yesterday and now like you're like 20. It's unbelievable. It's so weird. But so I got involved. So there was another teen class that they had back when I was 17.
Okay.
That was not hosted by Scott, but it was connected to Third Coast, which Scott co-owns with Luke Watson, who's the director of LOL Nashville, which is the group I'm in. And so it was taught by Ryan King, and it was just like this teenagers improv group. It was a lot smaller, a lot more concentrated. It was taught by this guy named Ryan King, who is a good friend of mine now. And I loved it. It was so much fun. It was like a 1 semester thing, and Third Coast announced on their website that they were having auditions for their main stage casts. And I was like, okay, I'm 17. I'm not going to get in, obviously, but I should try it because I love improv. I clearly have I have an aptitude for it. I just like really, I feel like I've got good timing. I've understand a lot of the basic concepts. So why not give it a shot? So
and even if you don't get it,
exactly,
just the auditioning process is
learning
enough. I mean, that's good.
getting that experience, seeing other people just that are better and like just leagues beyond me, around me, and having that experience is just so important. So
absolutely.
My dad drives me to this first audition. It's like a Monday night, and it's in the middle of December, and he literally drives me there because I can't drive at that point. Or no, I wasn't allowed. I could drive, but I wasn't allowed to drive to Nashville at that point because I was 17 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I show up for this audition, and it's like 2 or 3 hours long, and it's incredibly nerve-wracking because they're all adults, and I'm the only like child there. Everyone else is like mid-20s, 30s, like that's it.
Wow.
And like I'm there, and I'm like, yo, like I'm like in high school, and they're like, whoa, that's so crazy. So, anyways, apparently my audition went very well. Like just way better than like I'd ever done improv before. My audition just like hit it, and they give me a call back the next day. I have another audition for the the callback auditions, and it's like all of the good people that had like, well, everyone was good, but like all the people that they really liked and wanted to see more of. And so I do this audition with all these like incredibly talented people. I'm like, okay, like it was fun. It was a fun callback. There's no way in hell I'm getting cast in any of these groups. And I get a message. Well, because they said that they were going to send out a message at midnight. I'd never get the message at midnight. I stayed up, and it was like a school day the next day. And I was like, okay, I didn't get in. And so I go to bed. It's like 1 a.m. And then I wake up, still no message. I go to school. I walk in the front door, and then I get an email on my phone right before my first class of the day. I'm a senior in high school. And I get a text that says, you've been accepted to LOL Nashville. And I didn't what do you do with that? Like I was 17. I had no idea what to do.
Walk back out the door.
Yeah. I was literally like I'm on fire. I can't believe I'm amazing. I can't believe, no. I was so terrified. And, even into like the first few like rehearsals, I was like, this is the most scary shit I've ever done in my life. I don't know if cursing's allowed on here, but
no.
Yeah.
Feel free.
I was like, this is the most scary thing I've ever done in my life. Like, these are all like seasoned adults that are like really good at this, and I'm a kid that just took like 2 classes, and I'm pretty sure like it was like through some fluke or something that they put me in, because honestly I have no idea. Those first rehearsals were rough, man. Like it was bad, but gradually I think through doing shows and being surrounded by all these like really talented and skilled people, I think I hold my own. I definitely know that like it's obvious that they're more experienced and more seasoned than I am at all times, but it was it's been a good learning experience, and it's given me a chance to say that I'm like, I'm doing professional improv, and
Yeah,
that's like something that, or
Yeah.
professional comedy, and not a lot of people, can say that at my age, which I think is like kind of, I don't know, I think it's kind of sick,
No, it's really awesome.
It's a lot of fun for me too. It's a good outlet, and it's taught me a lot about things other than just like comedy too, like just life.
Oh,
in
for
general.
sure.
Mhm.
Just being on a stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Being on a stage and like not knowing what the hell you're about to do.
Yeah, which is just music.
Yeah, exactly. At least though with music, you have like a light framework.
Well,
With
you know.
improv, it's like you have no idea what you're gonna do for the next hour. Have fun.
So can you briefly explain it? So do they like give you a card or something and be like, all right,
Yeah,
this is
so-
your topic, and you go
Is
go
it
ham?
Whose Line?
Is it not? So it's actually like a lot more involved than Whose Line.
Mm.
Whose Line? The whole thing about that show is that there is a lot of improv in that show, but most of it is kind of like given to the actors for the sake of. I think they did it for the sake of like being able
Making
to
it
edit it.
watchable.
Yeah, making it watchable, making
Yeah.
it editable, more consistent performances.
Yeah.
The thing with like real like bona fide like professional improv is the only thing you get is a suggestion and you do whatever you want with it. Sometimes they might have games, like for example, there's a game that we play called Four Corners where you'll have like four improvisers standing in like a square kind of formation,
Okay.
and who's ever in the front has a scene together, and you can rotate the square, so then it changes into a different scene with two new improvisers.
That's crazy.
And there's one person on the outside that's just like calling like rotate to the right, rotate to the left,
so
two
it's
to
their
the right.
it's their call then.
It's their call,
Okay.
and exactly. So every scene is different. So you have 4 different scenes, and it's just fun to see all that fast pace changing in between all these different scenes, and that's one where it's a little bit more controlled and a little bit more less variables, but it all is very much like, what's a household object, bicycle. That's not a household object, but like a bicycle.
Yeah.
And so someone might say, like they start a scene and there might be like waxing a bicycle or like, polishing a bicycle and say, oh, I think we should get divorced. Like, like it might not have anything to do with a bicycle, but it inspires it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how improv works, is it's just inspiration that feeds into like a completely improvised.
Yeah. Well, and you're feeding
dialogue.
off of other people's inspiration as well.
Yes.
And they don't know what they're doing, and neither do you.
And the fun thing about improv is that ideally, and in a perfect world, it is not just one person running the scene. It's like you have to be very symbiotic with the other people you're on stage with.
Yeah.
And that's something that immature but talented improvisers don't always get, is that like they'll just try to run a scene, or they'll just try to like lead a scene, or be like, oh, I'm the funny one, I'm gonna make everything funny and make myself look good. And that's sorry, that was really horrible. That's something that I used to do a lot when I was in like high school. Is I knew I was funny, and I knew that I could make a scene funny, so I would just say, forget the other improviser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be funny for myself, and then it would be awkward to watch from the audience. It'd be like, okay, this kid is just like doing his own thing, and the other person's like just standing there, and it's awkward and it's not funny. And so like kind of what a large part of growing up in improv is like learning how to improvise where you're making the other person look better than you, and they're making you look better than them, and it's just like getting better and better through just like working together kind of thing. That's the hardest thing. That's the biggest thing I've learned from improv, is that like the best way to look good on stage in music or anything is to make the other people look good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just selfish to be like, oh no, I'm the funny one, I'm the hilarious one, look at me,
Yeah.
People will pick that up and be like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
So while this improv is happening, so there's an audience there as well. Is that how this?
It's
is
all
that how
about
it
the
goes?
audience, because the audience is the ones that they provide the inspiration. So they'll give suggestions, or they'll give.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always up to the audience. So like, if y'all were in the audience, I
awesome.
would say like, hey, what's something you ate today?
Chicken.
Okay, and then we'll start a scene that is inspired by the word chicken, or we'll
Okay.
start whatever a montage of scenes inspired by the word chicken. It's kind of how that all works. So you can get 20 minutes out of chicken.
The word chicken.
Yeah, you can get 20 minutes of material out of the word chicken. Because if you do a scene and then you want to change to a different, so there's a thing called long form, and it's basically like improv, but like you can just like it's like different montages of scenes. So like you might have like a scene, and then someone else gets inspired, and that scene is over. They can edit that scene or sweep the scene, start a new one inspired by some of the stuff in previous scenes. Is kind of how that works. And so you can literally get inspiration from previous scenes to inspire new scenes off of a suggestion. So that's kind of the fun thing about improv is you have to learn how to make that like A to C connection of like chicken. Chicken salad, making a salad bar. Oh, Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah.
Buffet, things like that. Like making that connection from like things like that to make new scenes and stuff like that. That's a big thing I've learned from that.
That's really cool. So
insightful.
Lots of fun to see too. I would definitely recommend it.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
So when do you have any like dates that you could say that things are happening like that?
I don't have one on me right now, but I'm sure that when y'all release this, I could send y'all a link to the event.
That would be awesome.
There. It's usually every other Saturday in during the month at 7 p.m. at Third Coast.
Okay.
And I'm in some of the shows because it's a big cast. It's like we have like 20 people. Well, maybe not 20 people. Maybe like 15 people on our roster, and each show is like 7 or 8 improvisers.
Wow.
So
it can go on for quite a while then.
Yeah.
Yeah, each show is like an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay. That's pretty solid.
No, it is it's just a big solid hunk of just like comedy, which is like it's like so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Be a part of. And I would recommend it to anyone above the age of like 15.
Okay.
Because it is adult, like it is an adult show.
Some things would kind of,
A few
well,
raunchy
yeah,
things
exactly.
come out.
Like because there is curse words, but not everyone minds curse words.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more so like I just feel like if you're 13, you might not appreciate innuendos or like even some of the more complex, clever humor in it.
Sure.
Because
cultural reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm not even like one of the funnier people in the group, but like there are so many people in this group that are just so clever and so fast, and like it just blows my mind every time I'm on stage with them, and they'll just make like a connection or like a reference, and I'm just like, what? How did you do that? Like I struggle to even think of like the end to like a why did the chicken cross the road joke. I'm like the other side and they're just like I'm like I can't compete.
But that's so cool because you're learning.
I am learning.
Too,
yeah, it's it's very intimidating, but it's like it's so fun to be intimidated in that way. You know what I mean? By like people that are just so skilled at what they do and very passionate about it too. So yeah,
cool stuff.
Which is even better. Having people around you that are passionate about what they do makes you even more passionate about it.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, that's very true. Because there's been times where I was like, man, like maybe just like I'm not good at improv, or like I'm not like maybe I'm just not suited for this kind of thing. And all these like incredibly talented people have always been so supportive of just like, no, like you are good. You might be going through something right now. You might be having a dry spell. You might be, whatever, but like keep doing it. Even people that like
that's even better.
There's
people that are supporting too.
And that's what's different between the improv community and the stand-up community.
Oh,
If you tell I feel like if you were to tell somebody, I'm not super familiar with it, but like I feel like if you were to tell somebody in the stand-up community, I think I should quit. They'll be like, yeah. You're right.
Get out.
You're right. We hate you.
I'll take those ticket sales. Thank you.
Yeah,
No,
it's a lot more confrontational on that side of things, and improv is more like, oh yeah, we're all like cool, we're all chill. It's more suitable for my like style of existing.
Yeah, well, and stand up is just one person. Improv, you have multitude of
exactly.
people, so it's more of like a family.
It doesn't
thing.
work being competitive in improv. And I'm like the least competitive human being I've ever met in my life, so it's like a lot easier for me to do improv.
I'm sure it's just a lot more fun. I mean,
it is more fun.
There's no pressure of having to compete.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about being the best looking person on stage.
So we'll move away from the comedy for a second. I want to talk about the music because
shit. Okay.
Because that's like pretty hot right now.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Things have happened.
Events have occurred. That is true.
Things are in motion now.
Let's talk about it.
I was gonna make a Lord of the Rings reference.
Oh.
But it's all right.
I mean, if you want to
Don't
continue,
pay
go
attention to me.
ahead.
No,
I want to hear it.
Don't pay
No,
attention.
no,
to me.
you have to do it.
Now
No, I
we're
can't.
calling you to we're pimping you. You have to do
It
it.
was just gonna be a things in motion joke.
But I ruined it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I'm
We
so
took
sorry.
we took all the moment. We didn't make
I'm
him
so
look
You
sorry.
good.
you ruin everything I ever do. But it's okay. It's okay.
We didn't make him look good on stage.
No.
Oh man.
We didn't- we didn't
I
help
look,
him out.
I look good enough for myself. It's
No,
okay.
no. Like physically, like we all look very attractive.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
What
of
I'm
course.
saying is though, like you just gotta make other people look really funny on stage, not
Oh,
like
yeah.
physically. You know what I mean? And that's something you never have to worry about when you're doing improv. Sorry, back to the improv thing. Never have to worry about it because
if you want to
everyone's
give
funny.
me a makeover on stage though, so I could actually look better.
We could do that.
That'd be great.
You want some pumps? We'll get you some pumps.
Hey,
You will see my big hair. I have it.
I've had a makeover done before. My girlfriend has done my makeup before, and man, it's just like it's one of those things where you're like, this is incredibly weird, but also like I don't hate the way I look. You know, like
That's awesome.
when you have stuff on your face, it's like, hey, you know all the best parts of your face, like here it is, right?
Yeah,
here.
look
it's
really
accentuated.
yeah,
accentuated.
and you're just like, wow, like I wouldn't have picked that lipstick color, but you know.
You know what? I'm working.
But
it looks great.
my highlight looks amazing. My contour looks amazing.
But is there documentation of this? That's the question. Of course,
I do
there
have
has
the
to be, right?
documentation. Yeah, there definitely is.
If there's a girlfriend involved, there's gonna be
yes,
documentation.
there are many pictures, but it's not like full drag makeup where I have like my hair, like a wig on or anything. Just like I have like eyeliner
Oh,
and like a contour and like eye makeup and
so
stuff.
so very basic, but still,
Very basic,
I'm
but,
sure
like,
it felt fantastic.
I
while it
felt
was happening.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Dude, I know, man. I think I'm saying like every guy at one point in their lives has to have one person do their makeup.
Oh.
Because every guy deserves that moment to be like, wow, I'm pretty. You know what I mean? Every guy needs that.
I've had several of those moments, but that's just because of my past.
Pretty.
Mostly drunken.
Well, there was that one time,
And the
then-
fact that your mom really wanted you to be a girl.
No, I was in dance for 13 years.
No kidding.
So
That's
yeah.
amazing. I tried to take a dance class, or sorry, I didn't try to. My mom signed me up for a hip hop dance class,
Ah, nice.
and I was the only boy, and I was really bad. It was awkward.
But how long did it last though? How long did
It was, I stayed from like August to like October, and like
Gotcha.
left as soon as like we did one performance. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Hey, at least you stuck around for the one performance.
Yeah, that's right.
Honestly, I now as an adult, I wish I had stuck around longer because I was like worried about it being emasculating or whatever. But now I watch like these guys that can dance, and I'm just like, what the hell? That's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Like people that can dance blow my mind. Sorry, I'm taking it way away from the music.
No,
I would
no,
like
no,
to talk
no.
about music now. We can talk about that.
No. Keep going.
But
We'll get
also,
there
like,
eventually.
dancing is like super cool, and more people should do it.
No, I agree.
I kill it at weddings.
There you go.
I
There
do,
you
man.
go.
That's my thing. That's what I do. Kill it at weddings if I'm not like too like socially afraid.
Right. Well, you know, it can get. Well, it depends on whose wedding it is, I guess.
Exactly. If it's someone
How
I
much
know.
liquid courage you've had.
Yeah. So, well, I'm 20, so like I can't drink.
Right.
Well,
Right. This is.
you
This
know,
is
It's a
yeah.
wedding. Who cares?
You know,
this-
but
don't-
if I
this-
get,
don't worry about that.
if I
This is a
get
Christian
enough, if I
podcast.
get enough water in my body,
Yeah.
Right. Crystal
I'm
clear water.
Yeah, if I'm
Nothing
hydrated
but.
enough, I'm
Right.
ready to go.
Right. Water is his favorite beverage.
It is,
It
my,
is.
it is
So I've
my
been
favorite.
told.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Patrick's parents?
Water.
Nothing but water.
Water, not beer,
No.
not
Never.
wine.
That's also something because I didn't know you were only 20. I
Yeah.
thought you were older
Yeah.
than 20. So.
No, I'm like 12 years old. I'm like I'm like a child. No, I'm 20. I just turned 20.
just turned 20.
I turned 20 in May.
Wow.
hmm Yeah, it feels no different than being 19.
No.
It's this like that age. 19 and 20 are like the weirdest ages because it's like there's-
Nothing matters at that
Nothing
point.
changes.
No.
Yeah, you're just gradually discovering how much being an adult sucks. Like
Yeah.
that's all those 2 years are for. Is like 18, you're still a kid, but like 19, you're just like, man, I'm about to be an adult, and then 20, you're like, I am basically, I'm almost dead now. You know?
Just wait till you hit
Just-
25.
I
Oh man,
know.
it's great.
Oh, does it get worse? I can't wait.
Oh,
Everything
always
starts
gets
to
worse.
hurt.
Oh man, see, I already have the body of like a 70-year-old man, so like, you know, it's like,
That's not true.
you know, the pains of one at least.
Yeah.
But
Hey, we're-
music.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to
Yes.
get onto that because
I want to talk about the first time that I think I ever saw you, which was
when was this?
I think it was the original Possum Stock,
The original.
20.
It was
14?
yeah, it was like
2013?
2014. Yeah,
And you were like 15
I was 15. Yeah, that would be right.
Were you
with Mopai.
Mopai? Yeah.
Mopai, yeah. So it's funny. It was actually this weird combination of things. So it was technically not Mopai. I had two bands at that point in time. I had the Wicked Pines and Mopai, and then I also had like a solo project. So it was really weird. I had people from the Wicked Pines, which was a Clarksville-based band, and people from Mopai come together and do this show. And so it was like a Patrick Long Wicked Pines Mopai hybrid show. And we did like mostly covers. There was like one original or two original songs, and they both went very poorly. But
Hey,
that's so wild that
it's
I
all
didn't
good,
know
though.
that that's when you
Yeah,
saw me.
it stuck out because I think we had played earlier,
Yeah,
and we had packed up when we were getting ready to go,
right.
and I heard, I want to say it was Whipping Post.
That sounds right.
I think yeah.
I heard
we
it
definitely played that
out
song.
across from the field, and I was like, who
Is
the hell is singing?
Who the hell is doing Whipping Post at Possum Stock right
Yeah.
now?
I was like, because God, it sounds really good.
Oh, I'm glad that you think that.
Yeah.
I'd actually forgotten about that. That's
Were you
right,
there as well?
Because we walked over there and listened
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
Really? See, because I remember that event. It was just so weird to me that like people actually came and listened to us because we were driving out there on that mud road and we're just like,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
there's gonna be nobody here, like because it was the first year of Possum Stock,
Yeah.
or maybe
Yeah.
it was like the second.
It
Was
might have been the second year.
I think it might have
Maybe.
been the second year because I'd heard about it the year before and it was so it was the second year, and I was just like, man, like I feel like there's gonna be nobody here and nobody's gonna care, and we had all these rehearsals for nothing. And we show up and there's like a bunch of people camping out. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, there were like a couple hundred. I
yeah,
think.
there was a lot of people there, and
They had three stages.
yeah, exactly. And I was
Yeah.
like, nobody's gonna want to listen to us because everyone else is doing like cool, original, like new style music, and nobody wants to hear like a bunch of white kids get on stage and sing like old, like soul and blues music. Like
Allman
nobody,
Brothers and
yeah,
things like
nobody
that.
wants to hear that. And then a bunch of people came and listened.
Turns
That
out
was-
everyone wants
Turns
to hear
turns
that.
out everybody wanted to hear
That's
that.
that's the cool thing about the Clarksville scene, though. Is
Yeah.
that they don't really care what genre it is.
No,
They're gonna be there
that's
and
the
listening
thing I
to
like
it.
about the Clarksville scene, and a lot of the Nashville and Murfreesboro scene is like that too.
I've heard the Murfreesboro scene's really good.
Yeah,
I
and
have
then
heard
and
that.
some of the Nashville DIY scene in particular is very cool in
Okay.
terms of like the DIY stuff especially is like really open to like all styles of like experimental like stuff like noise punk stuff like where it's like literally just like have you seen that video of the guy who's just like banging on the snare drum and he's just like throwing it around?
No, I haven't seen that.
That wasn't in Nashville, but like I feel like that would go
Something that would
that
go
would
well
that would
there.
go well over in a Nashville show because people are just like super open and super chill and like
It's because we're all tired of country.
yeah, we're all so tired of country. No, I will say there is some good country that is
There's
that
a
is
good like
coming up right
underground
now.
country scene. I feel like.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
even like up and coming pop country even like
Sure.
there's a couple of guys that I've been doing I did some video stuff with Austin Jenks, or maybe it's Austin Jenkins. I don't know
Is
how to
that
say his
the
name.
music video you did recently?
I did that one music video. Yeah, I did a couple music videos. And the other guy that I did a music video with was a guy named Cale Dodds.
Okay.
And he's with Warner in Nashville, and he's like up and coming too. He's got like all these like really good songs that like it's like pop country, but like it's interesting and like
Yeah.
like actually
Good
like
lyrics?
It's like no, like, yeah, like good lyrics, like super meaningful and
Yeah.
like a super dedicated fan base. And he's like the nicest guy too. Like we're buddies now, and like it's so cool being able to like work with people that are like they're doing the pop country thing, but like
They
they're-
have a soul.
Yeah, they have a soul. They're not settling for just snaps in every song.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with having snaps in a song,
there's a place for it.
but like I feel like being open to trying new things is like something that's really starving in the Nashville country scene. I think, and I think that the more that we encourage that sort of thing and make it normal, like I think that's like so cool.
Break away from the machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or even if you have a machine, at least try something new with the machine.
Sure.
You know what
Push
I
a
mean?
different
Yeah.
button.
Push it. try a different sound effect. Yeah. No. And that's something that I've been kind of witnessing recently because I too am not a huge fan of country, but I grew up listening to it, and
I
now
do
I'm like
too,
kind of
yeah.
I'm moving back towards it because I'm kind of like starting to dig some of the new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
cool.
What kind of stuff are you digging that's coming out now? I mean, it like stuff in the top 40 or like more of the Nashville scene.
I'm trying to think. So like, there's a lot of so I'm a huge fan of Austin Jenks and Cale Dodds, obviously. what's that one song? It's like Take a Drunk Girl Home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Let her sleep on the couch.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
My friend, one of my friends actually was part of the production for that video.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's
video.
a huge song.
Yeah, and it won like something at the CMA Video Awards or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good message.
Yeah,
which is
no,
really
it's
cool.
and I think that's something that we need to like. I think that's so cool that there's so many artists that are coming out now that are like not afraid to like change the way country music's dialogue is like occurring.
Yeah,
because,
it's not
like,
about trucks and beer
No,
and
well,
girls.
and like, and if it is, at least there's like a message behind some of it.
yeah,
Like,
sure.
you know, early country music, like to me, some of my favorite country music is like super political country music from like the early like 20th century, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like Woody Guthrie and, you know, Utah Phillips and all that kind of stuff where it's like, you know, half of it is like, you know, country music about like, you know, your wife dying, and then the other half is like, I hate the government. Like
Yeah.
it's like one or the other. That's like the cool stuff. And there's actually like kind of like a resurgence in that kind of music. Like Jason Isbell is like bringing a lot of that back.
Yeah.
And Sturgill Simpson is bringing a lot of that back too. He had a project called I forgot what they were called, but he had this song called Folded Flag, and it was just like it was super political and super like inflammatory and not what you would think, like compared to like most like of the country, you know, demographic. If you would hear that song at like a country festival, you'd be like, oh my gosh, there's gonna be a riot. Like I can't believe that someone would sing about that kind of stuff. But like I think it's kind of cool how like I don't know, there's different artists that are coming up now. Casey Musgraves is another one.
She's great.
I don't listen to a lot of her stuff, but I've heard that she's like doing a lot for the genre right now, which I think is so cool.
She is.
And like Lil Nas, like I know like people joke about it, but like he is doing something huge for the genre right now.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I mean, rap culture and country culture have been at odds for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And it's
And then when
like,
it did happen, sometimes it wasn't so great.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And people, it would be a joke to
Yeah.
some people. But like Old Town Road, as overplayed and as obnoxious as it might be, it's done so much for the genre, like, and the culture. Like the culture is the biggest thing. Is like you're seeing integration between like country music and like meme like rap, which is so cool.
It's kind of
Like,
comedy rap. Yeah.
it's cool. Like it's I think we need more of that with other genres too, you know.
More strange combinations like
Exactly,
that. Yeah.
because genre is such a dumb thing to me that like we
it doesn't really exist.
we divide and define things so much by what it is and who would like it, and
Well, we're
it's
kind of
just-
forced to, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
like record labels and signing deals.
Yeah.
They want to know
Yeah.
exactly what kind of music you play.
labels and playlists and
Yeah.
blogs are super particular about. Oh
Mhm.
well, this doesn't really fit our sound, so we're just not gonna like.
It's like, well, what is your sound exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What is your sound? Is it one of the like the 20 bands that play the exact same way?
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Because that's a little boring.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Well, it is boring, especially when you if you make and write music according to a genre that you've predetermined for yourself. You are literally like shooting your creativity in the foot.
Oh,
'Cause you're
yeah.
like, no, I have to make this sound more like an 80s love ballad for every song I write. And it's like, Mom,
No, thank you.
No.
there's been a lot of 80s love ballads. I think maybe one or two would be okay, but like maybe not your entire discography.
Yeah.
You know.
And if someone asks, you know, what's the genre of your band, which be like, well, come to a show and find out.
Yeah, sure. Or use like rough, unrelated terms to describe it.
Well, I play the guitar, and I usually turn the amp up.
Oh, that's a good. I would
a
go
good
see
start,
that show.
really.
I would see
So-
that show.
Yeah.
I would go to that show.
Yeah.
That's
It's
like
it's
That's
it's
like
just
a-
90% of what I go to shows for.
he
like
walks
a-
on stage, puts the guitar on, turns it up, walks off the stage.
Hey, that's like that new Nashville DIY noise punk stuff. Turn the amp up and just let the feedback play for 20
Oh, man.
minutes.
No.
I bet you someone will be inspired. Hey,
Yo,
While
you're-
I
you-
continue my interpretive dance.
yeah.
now you're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Now you're adding layers to this show, and I'm really
Exactly,
enjoying
yeah.
it.
It's part
Put the
performance
pumps
art.
on, you got a whole
Oh,
show.
my goodness.
You're good to go.
Oh, man.
It's part performance art now.
So we'll talk about the EP.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the
Okay.
EP because
I-
it just came out
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And how are you feeling right now?
Oh, super relaxed.
Yeah? Do you feel accomplished?
I feel very accomplished. Because we did exactly what it was we set out to do. and then some. Because so like we were very worried for a while right before we released that, because we had like most of it done. It was done. Like we had all of our tracks done and everything. And just like the mixing process, we were just very worried that we weren't going to reach the kind of like the bigness that we wanted to achieve. Because like that was something we set out day one. We were like, we want this EP to be huge, like just feel big,
like sonically huge.
Sonically huge, feel vast, feel like cinematic in nature, like and we were just like, yo, like we're doing half of this at MTSU in their drum studio, or like in like Studio A, like which is like a student studio.
Yeah.
And then the other half we're doing in our apartment,
which is badass.
In our bassist bedroom, like
yeah.
And so we did literally we did like all of it there. Like most of it was done in that bedroom, other than like drums and like a choir part, and then like a couple of string parts.
Yeah.
But like everything else was like,
and a horn section as well.
And a horn
right?
section,
yeah.
yes. Which actually I don't remember where we did those. I think that was at a studio in Nashville that Cody had some time with. But that was like one time. So I'm not even going to put that in the description of everything else. We're just going to say bedroom.
We brouut the horn section into the bedroom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, we could have probably done that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
It would have been very
nice
loud.
Cramps sound.
Yeah, nice cramps. Yeah. Well, and so like, yeah, I feel very accomplished because we ended up remixing a lot of the songs right before we released, because we kind of did a oopsie and scheduled the release date before we were like 100% finished, which is like not like what you're supposed to do. But we did that. And so it was like earlier in the week that we finished. So luckily we were done before it was finished. Otherwise we wouldn't be here right now. But yeah, we released this project, and we just had like I said, we had to remix a lot of the songs. And
were you just not satisfied with how it sounded before?
Yeah, because like the thing is like when you have like a lot of moving parts like that are in each and every song, because there's so many tracks in each song, it can just sometimes like the power of all the tracks can cancel each other out.
It gets a little muddy.
Yeah, and it just sounds like a bunch of people playing in a room. You know, like, or not even in a room. It just sounds like a bunch of different parts you played next to each other.
Yeah.
And it wasn't cohesive. It didn't tell a story. It didn't feel like blowing your face off like, whoa. That's exactly
what you wanted.
Yeah, we wanted.
You wanted to go, whoa.
And so finally, after remixing it, we just sat down, like all the band. We came over to our apartment, and I was at my apartment. I didn't come over to my own apartment. I was already at my apartment. But our keyboard player and our drummer came over, and we just sat in the room and we listened to it front to back with the fades and everything between the songs.
Yeah.
And we just were gasping.
Yeah.
Like for air, because we're just like, this is exactly what we wanted. Like, because I remember when we were writing these songs, or because I was the primary songwriter for most of the songs, but we all sort of like changed and warped the song. So everyone wrote every song, you know.
Yeah.
But like when I was originally writing some of the first drafts for these songs, I was thinking this has to be a certain way. Like I want it to be cinematic. I want it to transport people when they listen to it. I want them to feel like they're in a different place. And I want the story to be one that's not obvious, but like it is there if someone wants to look for it.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it is a conceptual EP.
Yeah.
It has a storyline to it. And I was just like, I want it to be available for whoever's listening to it to put their own meaning to it, or discover the hidden meanings in all the songs.
Yeah.
And I wanted there to be Foley effects. I wanted there to be rain. I wanted there to be thunder. I wanted there to be boats. And I wanted it to sound like you're at sea.
Yeah.
Like,
which was your, because Capsize was like, you wanted that to be the theme.
Yes.
Where did the nautical theme come from?
Yeah. So this is actually I've never gotten to talk about this, and this is my favorite thing. The reason why the EP is a nautical theme, it started off the song "Rockin' a Hard Place." I've had that song for maybe 3 years now. 3 years. And I wrote it way long ago, before the Low Blow even existed, and we were recording that song, and then I just had this like mantra in my head where I was just like, I was going through a really tough time emotionally, which is like such a fun thing to say, but I was going through like a really hard time emotionally, and I just kind of felt like, like maybe I was like, I felt like suffocated, but also like I felt really isolated too at the same time, and really the only word I could describe to it was like drowning, you know. And I sort of had this like aha moment where I was like, like growing up and being a child, and like this is like sounds so way out of left field, but like growing up and being a child, my room that I lived in from like when I was like a little kid to like maybe like young adolescence was like nautical themed. It had like boats, it had sailboat pictures, the wallpaper had boats on it, and I always had my grandfather built me a handmade boat, and so I was kind of like, what if I were to like, I don't know, I've always like to have like sort of like a almost like childlike nostalgic innocence in all of the way that I write, because I think that's a very like tender time in your life, like
absolutely
when you're growing up and you're figuring yourself out, and the nautical theme sort of just came naturally following that of like it would just make sense for me to write songs about feeling like I'm drowning and how I wish I could feel alive and go back to those those happier times, and so because of that, and also it was loosely inspired from just different musical influences I've had in the past. What we discovered the other day, there's this album by have you all listened to Owl City at all?
I've listened to a little bit of Owl
Okay,
City.
so
yeah, but I'm not proud of it.
No, I understand. They were the first concert I ever saw. I was like 10 years old. And I saw them.
Man,
and
blew your mind, I'm sure.
No, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I get me here right now. Like Owl City is like super cringy at times, but that concert was like awesome, and they're very talented, and I think that their music is actually very influential towards like modern music, more than I think people realize.
Sure.
And the guy Adam Young, the guy who is the head of Owl City, actually wrote an album called Sky Sailing and released it underneath the name Sky Sailing, which had a lot of nautical imagery in it, and kind of played with like the idea of like sailboats and harbor towns and things like that. And I've just always loved that aesthetic. Like in my mind, I've just always loved it. And it just kind of came naturally from there. I was like, we're going to write a nautical EP. Why not?
There you go.
It's there's no point in just like not going along with it. It's something that's deeply personal to me, something that's, affected me for my whole life.
It is kind of like a romantic image too.
Yeah, well, it is very romantic. And that's something that we wanted is like, with all of our writing and all of the plans that we have in the future, we want big, vast, huge images and that like present something very like obvious to the listener. Which is why like the nautical theme was just a no-brainer for us once it sort of came together. And we already have our plans for the next project figured out. Like,
oh wow, that's awesome.
Concept and everything. And I might tease at that a little bit later, but like yeah.
Exclusive.
I'm very excited to talk about things because I don't get to as much because I've never done interviews.
Well, this is the place to do it.
Yeah.
I did really like with the singles you guys would release. You like would do like part of the album cover a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
that is actually completely unintentional at first, and then it made sense once Undertow came out. So we released Rock in a Hard Place, and it was the lighthouse and the rocks and the water, and so I made all the covers.
Awesome.
So I went to graphic design school for 4 years in high school because we had there was this academy program where each high school had like a career technical academy.
Wow.
So like you could go for like business, or you could go to like a different school for like STEM.
Where did you go to high
Wouldn't
school?
that have been nice?
Well, so Clarksville Montgomery County school system has this academy program where each school has like a different thing. So you could do like Homeland Security and defense and stuff like that, or you could do like 4-H, like agriculture and that kind of stuff. And you could do business, or you could do graphic design. And then there's another one that was like video game design and like app design. Yeah, no joke. Like, and so
it's time for me to go back to school.
Yeah, no, it was so cool. And so I went to the Academy for Media Arts and Technology. We called it AMAT because that was the acronym.
Yeah.
And it was at Rossview High School.
Okay, so you went to Rossview.
Yeah, I went to Rossview,
okay.
And so what they had there was like it was like a graphic design academy where you learn how to make like logos and design posters and design graphics for anything like a logo or like a font, or like if you're if you need like a photo and it also integrated with photography and web design as well. So like
it goes hand in hand.
It's all connected. So we did a lot of photography stuff too, where we would do, we would have to learn how to operate cameras, and then we would take them into like Lightroom or Photoshop and edit the photos so they look better or whatever. And when you get a bunch of inexperienced high schoolers editing photos, it can often ensue mischief, or
one can only imagine.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing that I would do in high school is I would take photos from the I guess you could call it the Facebook, but it was just like we had a folder that was like connected to the whole school of all the AMAT students' profile photos. And I would take all of the photos of the people in my class, and I would shrink their faces down super small. So it would just be these tiny faces on their like heads, and I would just send it to them, and they'd be like, "Why would you ever do that?" That was the worst. Like, and so that was like the kind of stuff I would do.
This is why I'm in theater.
No, exactly. Yeah. Well, and like so I would do that. And we would get like these projects where we had to like make like a movie poster or like a logo, and they would give us like 3 weeks to do it, and I would just finish it the first day so I could goof off the rest of the time. I got good at graphic design for the sheer fact that I just wanted to goof off.
So I could shrink people's faces.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason I got good at graphic design. But
a noble goal, though.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah, of course.
exactly. Yes. I forgot where I was going with that. Where did
it's
that
not
come
hard work, but it's honest
the
work.
covers, the covers.
Yeah, the covers.
So the covers came from this like we kind of. A lot of the albums and like, or not their albums, the EP is very it's very conceptual and very like we have this vivid imagery of like when you have like a dream and you just see like this image in front of you, and we kind of wanted to make it look sort of like not real but like real at the same time. And so kind of what we did is I didn't draw anything. It is a style, it's like a photo collage basically, for all the covers, and it was you can literally get the rights to any image online, like if you pay like a certain amount of money.
Yeah, of course.
And you would edit it. What I would do is I would edit it, I would colorize it, change it, cut it out, make it look like it was like in a cohesive thing, and that's how I would make all the covers for our stuff. And it's like completely legal, completely okay, as long as it is royalty free and like you pay for the amount of money.
This episode's sponsored by Shutterstock.com.
It was a lot of it was through Shutterstock, and like you're technically, as long as you're not like, I don't think there's rules for it unless like you're like branding like an entire like company off of it and trademarking it.
Yeah.
You're just selling like you're not even selling the artwork, you're selling the music, so it's like not a huge deal. But yeah. If it becomes a problem, we'll just change it.
At that point, you're like, I don't even care anymore.
If it's an issue, like I'll change it. But like a lot of it is a lot of the stuff that I was mostly concerned with was like colorization and like texture overlaying and font design and things like that. That was most of the work was put towards colorizing and stuff like that.
Right, so it would match everything else.
Because we have a very distinct color palette for the entire EP's promotion kind of thing.
Yeah, which is really awesome.
Well, and that's kind of something that we like took out of the page of like Jack White and his way.
I was gonna say Jack White.
Yeah, the way he brands his different projects with a specific color tone.
Yeah,
we kind of did like a 4-tone or 4 or 5-tone promotion color palette, and it's like a pale yellow, deep red, navy, light blue, like seafoam kind of color. So it's like 5 colors, and every post we've had that was like just like a promotional photo, not like a live photo, has been in palette. Everything we wear to shows that are like official will have.
Oh, really?
Be dressed in
so it's even down to like your clothes. That's
every
awesome.
video we've done, we shot it with color palette in mind.
Very cool.
So that's kind of like where we're going, where we went with the EP. We're just kind of like leaning back right now and just like chilling for the time being, because it was a lot of mental gymnastics we had to play to figure out the release schedule for it all and just get it all like out there. Like we were very worried that was not going to turn out, but like luckily it did.
And it had some good traction too. I mean, people really seemed to dig it.
That's something that we were very worried about, because like I've released before.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody cares. It's like
releasing DIY is really difficult.
It is very difficult, especially like, and even like with submissions like that you do for like, you can like even submit to like different like playlists and be like, yo,
like Spotify playlists.
Yeah,
and
like
things like
hey, put us on your playlist. Like most of them will just be like, no.
Yeah,
like,
really?
Yeah, like if you submit to a like place and be like, yo, like listen to my track, so many of them will not listen, and then most of those people that do listen are just like, no, like I like it, but like no.
Wow.
Or they'll just hate it. Like that's so like you can do things like there's a thing called like Submit Hub where you can like submit like singles to different bloggers and playlists and things like that. And we would get like a 10% like accept, like it was like something like a 0.5 or like it's like a point. I don't remember what it is. It's a very low acceptance rate average across the board. And so when we would submit, we would be like, okay, but like we're good. So like we'll get like more submissions and it's or we'll get more acceptances and it's like, no, like we definitely did not get more. We were like maybe like one every 10 or 15. We would get we would get someone be like, yeah, we'll put it in. And the worst thing is people on those playlists, they reject you for the weirdest reasons. Like not even like most of the rejections we got were very positive. And I don't mean like, oh, like they had mostly positive things to say. Like a lot of them were just like, we love this track. It's so good. We like the guitars. We like the vocals. The songwriting is very mature. We're going to pass. And you're just like, what?
Why though?
Yeah. Or they'll have like one little thing. They'll be like, the reverb on the vocal after verse 2, just a little bit wet for my taste. Sorry. And it's like, yo, like, can we fix it and send it back? And they're like, absolutely not. No.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
I did not like the choice of yellow on the cover.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd think that would be ridiculous, but that's like totally like not off the table.
That's crazy.
No, it's, I mean, you'd think it'd be crazy, but I guess maybe they know something we don't. And they're like, no.
Or at least they think they do.
Yeah.
Our analytics show our listeners only like sunshine yellow.
or like there'll be times where people are like, oh my God, there's very obvious, like, your vocals are flat in this one place. And I'm like, I know they're not flat because they were tuned.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't believe you just said my vocal that was tuned is flat. Like, you just lied to yourself. Like, your ears are lying. Like, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not salty about it.
No,
I'm just like really hurt about it.
The good thing is people have been listening to the EP.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say is that, like, we were very worried that we were not going to get any listens. But Murfreesboro, Nashville, and Clarksville, and just places that we've played, we have an incredibly loyal network of just friends and people that have like, played with us that support us. Because I think that we have something that not a lot of bands in our genre, like that pop kind of rock genre, have, and that is that I don't think we're super arrogant, like super about ourselves, or I think we're very real people, most of us. Or no, I think we, like, everyone in the band, I would say, is a real person. Most of us are, except for Taylor, our drummer. No,
he's been constructed.
No, Taylor's like my favorite person in the world. But like, what I'm saying is just like I think we're very genuine people that are very concerned with the success of our friends, and
which is so important.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I honor someone. I honor real people like so much compared to like superficial people that are just doing it for clout and things like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I get it. Like, there are people that that's how they have to do it. Like, there's a lot of merit in running the business in a way that like everything has to be about like getting yourself higher. Like, I get that there's people that I know that have to do that to survive and keep themselves afloat. But also, like, there's a lot to be said about, like, not needing to do that and just being a genuinely good person.
Yeah.
And, like, not making it about being, like, getting attention. It's about, like, just being real and legitimate towards people that, like, you care about. And not faking it to get people to like you. Like,
just be nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And, like, don't do it.
Easy.
Don't be nice just to get
clout.
Like, be nice because you want to be. Like, it's not that hard. I don't think that I've ever gotten anything out of being fake nice.
Oh no.
You know, I've never been the one to do that. If I don't like somebody, I will just I just won't talk to them. If someone bothers me, I'm not going to pretend to like them, because that's
no one benefits from
that.
Exactly. Yeah, no one does, because it's not like I hate a lot of people. I'm pretty friendly and open to most people. you'd have to do something really mean for me to not like you. So why would I pretend to like
Exactly.
you if you're
Yeah.
gonna be a jerk to me? Like,
Yeah.
there's no point, I don't know.
That's good things to live by.
I think most people live by that at least, or at least try to. I don't mean to make it sound like I'm like super unique in that sort of experience.
No, it's just something
I think
people
you
should
guys
do.
are very much like that. Most people are like that. That's how I like to run things in the band. I kind of made that like very clear early on with the band. Is like, we're not doing this to get famous. We're not doing this to get rich. We're doing it to create music that's very personal and
Yeah.
someone else can relate to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much or who.
Yeah, that's the goal. If one person gets something from it, you've succeeded.
Exactly. That's like a day one thing we established.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a clout game. This is not like if people like us and we get a lot of people liking us, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Like, if we get clout, if we get this, great. But we're not gonna do it by stepping on people's toes to get there.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna stay in our lane. We're gonna be chill. We're gonna be like we're gonna look out for those that like are close to us, but we're not gonna be super like Machiavellian and like cryptic in the way that we run things. Like, that was something that was like right up front, is like, be real. There's no harm.
And be real and let the talent speak for itself. I mean,
Sure,
that's all you have to do. Yeah.
That was kind of that's sort of what I would say as a response to all of that. Just like, that's what's worked for us in the past, so we're just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So I listened to the EP, the whole thing. It was great.
Okay.
I loved
Good.
it.
Sounds like there's a butt coming.
There's no but. That's
okay.
it. I just
I
loved
was
it.
like, I listened to the EP,
But
the whole thing, but
But
your vocals were a little bit flat. in that one.
your vocals on one high note that was tuned were a little flat. Yeah.
the reverb on that note.
Yeah.
But if you were to pick, and I know this can be difficult,
Okay.
but is there one track on the EP that just really moves you a certain way?
Moves me a certain way. I would say my favorite to listen. So there's two answers here. My favorite to listen to is Capsize,
Okay.
the title track. It's just huge. It is like the pinnacle of like exactly what I wanted for this EP. Like, the big choir, the water washing, and the strings and everything, and it was huge. It's like super Life of Pi-esque in terms of like, I don't know. It's
and it swells. What I love about that song is it's very stark in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then it slowly swells throughout the
Yeah.
entire song.
That song is exactly how I wanted it to be. So that's my favorite to listen to.
Yeah.
My favorite to play live is 2:15
Yeah.
a.m. Because that song is very sad.
Yeah, well, I can tell it's personal.
It's
or
very
at least
personal.
it sounds that way.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly. So that song I originally wrote at like 3 a.m, not 2:15 in the morning.
Hey, wait a minute.
Deception.
Hey, wait a minute. This is I'm a little upset now. No, I wrote it at 3 a.m, with my now roommate, spending the night at my house in Clarksville, and we were just goofing around on Logic, like with Massive Synth. I don't know if you know if heard of Massive. It's like a synth program or whatever, and it has just all these different synths, and I was just goofing around with it, and I was making something really small, like just small sounding, like the chord progression to 2:15 a.m. started there, was just
Okay.
like this really small synth, and like rain sound effects was what it was.
Okay.
And I wrote these lyrics, and they were super like kind of like 1975 delivery, like just like super like, it was fast and it was like percussive, and it just didn't really, I don't know, it was cool when I wrote it because I liked it because I wrote it. And then
Yeah.
like a year went by before we did anything with it, and I was trying to introduce it to the Low Blow because I had written it by myself before, and I was trying to introduce it, and I was just like, yo, like, this is a song called 2:15 a.m. Nashville is what it was called. It was originally called 2:15 a.m. Nashville because it was based on an event that happened in Nashville. And so my band listens to it, and they're like, yeah, like, it's good. I'm like, it didn't have the desired effect anytime I ever played it for anybody. And so I'm like, okay, well, something obviously needs to be done. I get my keyboard player, Matthew Williford. He comes over to the apartment, and we rewrite the thing completely. Like, we start from scratch. No parts that were in the original song are in the new version except for the chord progression.
Okay.
Originally, it was like something something. It was like I'm trying to think of like one of the lyrics. She said she's gonna run off to L.A. and she asked me if I'll come along the way. And I'm like, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make any sense, and I just like need to write something completely different. So we rewrote it and made it just this super soft, like we wanted to make it like the song about broken moments when you're like talking to somebody for the last time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like these, like when you screw up a conversation like that.
Yeah.
We wanted the song to feel like, hey, you know that moment when like you just like completely like tank a conversation with someone that really matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what we wanted, of like that awkward silence that you have in between like sentences. We wanted the song to feel like that. So like just heart-wrenching. And so and then we Matthew sang this melody that was like, and I'm like, that's so pretty, but it doesn't fit at all with this like verse. I'm like, okay, well, we'll just make that like a bridge thing, this whatever. And I said, oh, you know, it'd be so emo if we said, but like totally shouldn't put it in because it's so corny. I love you more than I hate me. And I need you more than you need me. And he was like, whoa, that's kind of sick. So we started singing that. I'm like, okay, we're going to use it as a placeholder. We'll change it eventually. We never did, because everyone that heard it loved it so much. It became the chorus, and that's what happened.
Well, it's simple, but people can relate to it, you know?
Yep.
I mean,
It's it's one of those songs that I think a lot of people can ascribe their own meaning to it. Cause it's open enough to where like I get a lot from it because it is very specific to an experience I've had.
sure.
But for other people, it might fit something that they've gone through or feel.
Yeah.
You know, as inspecific or specific the song might be. You know, I think that's my favorite thing about 215 is that, you know, I can play it, I can cry on stage while I'm playing it for my own reasons.
Yeah.
And other people can cry for their own reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard those reasons from other people. I'm like, that's not what it's about, but
I like
for
that.
you it is. Like
that's great.
That's what it is about for you, you know.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and so that's why 215 is like my favorite to play.
Which also, if you want to promote it, you can. But the video on that you just put out.
we did a live session video with Kirkwood Live, and it is available on Facebook and YouTube. Just look up the Low Blow Kirkwood Live 2:15 a.m. session. It's also on our Facebook and our Instagram if you want to check it out.
It's really cool. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's very
Watch
cool.
it.
It was absolutely freezing. when we did
Oh,
that.
really?
It was like March when we shot that.
Oh, wow.
And so it was like the middle of the night. Yeah, we held it for a while.
It's been around for a while.
But it was like middle of March, and it was freezing. That's why at the beginning of the video, if you look at our keys player, he looks absolutely miserable. Like he sounds like he just got a call that like his dog had died or something at the beginning of the video. Like watch it, and he looks so sad. But honestly, he was just freezing. He was just freezing. Like we were all cold. Because it was the middle. It was like middle of the night, and it was so cold on top of that parking garage. We were on top of a parking garage on Murfreesboro MTSU's campus.
Wow.
And so it was like freezing up there. It was so windy, so cold, and we spent so much time just threading cables and running cables to all these different mics, because it was like you have to do a setup in the middle of like. It's just crazy having to do a setup on a parking garage.
Well, yeah.
And like having to run like a 50-foot cable from like one outlet in one of the
columns.
Yeah. And that's how we like ran sound for the entire thing. It was unbelievable.
It sounded great, though.
I'm glad, because it was a very hard process. There were so many times where we would have to stop 3/4 of the way into a take because like a cable went bad or something like that. I can't tell you how many XLRs that video was. Like, if you had seen the ring of fire of just like XLRs, you would have been like, oh my God, it looks
They're gonna blow up.
It literally looks like the Great Wall of China, or it looks like it looked like every single like bomb defusing movie ever, but like right in front of us.
Oh my goodness.
It was freezing and it was wiry, and the only time we could get out of the cold was to go into the library underneath us to go pee. Or no, it wasn't the library, student union. Go underneath us to the library or to the student union pee, and then, or to hop into the director's car who had his heater on. Yeah, we'd just like put our hands on the heater. And it was.
We know those feelings.
It was miserable, but it was a fun video to shoot, and it turned out really well. We were very happy with the way it turned out, and we're releasing. So we did that video. We're releasing a music video. We haven't really told anybody about this. We've kind of teased it a little bit.
I've seen a couple of pictures.
Yeah, we were releasing a full music video for "Rockin' a Hard Place."
Okay.
I'm not gonna give a date. I'm not gonna put a date on it, but
Eventually.
soon, like very soon, like I would say within a month maybe.
Okay.
We're releasing this
Cool
video.
stuff.
It's super. It's just like. It's higher quality than I had ever thought I would ever have the chance to like be a part of. Like, you ever like watch a music video and you're like, I'm never going to be able to do a video like that high quality with like that kind of camera, that kind of whatever. And I have this friend named Dylan, who's actually the guy who did the Austin Jenks video that I was in.
Okay.
Tremendous director, tremendous friend of mine. And he gave us this wonderful opportunity to be able to do this video with him, and it just turned out so much better than I could ever have imagined. Like I didn't even know what to expect, and then we show up and we get it started, and I'm just like, it looks like a freaking Wes Anderson movie. Like in terms
really?
of, well, that's kind of like what we were going for. We're like, the video is like, I will say it is like, to tease it a little bit, it is, imagine the most awkward music video shoot ever, but like with "Rockin' a Hard Place" playing in the background, because that's like the goal is like very awkward. It's just like very awkward, like robotic performances, kind of is like what it's all about.
But was that the vision though?
That was the vision.
Yeah, okay.
It was like the awkwardness of a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Played with "Rockin' a Hard Place," which is like this super like out there, like super like flamboyant song paired with like just this very awkward delivery, and it's so funny. Like I'll probably show you when the camera's off what we've got so far, but I can't wait for the audience to see this. Like it's freaking hilarious. And the guy Dylan, the guy who's editing it and directing it and producing and all of it, it just looks so good, and he's so talented, and we couldn't have done it without him. So big ups to Dylan Rucker, everybody.
There you go. And I'm sure it was awesome to walk into a place and let someone else just kind of take control.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, I think that like too often we as a band, we micromanage everything we do.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I mean, like we had our EP release show the night of the release, or the night before the release of the EP, and all of us were just walking back and forth the entire night between like the lobby and the performance room, and just like, is everything okay? We got over the merch table, figured out everything's good, everything. And it wasn't until we released this thing that we were just like, we can finally just take a breath and just be like, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's gonna like, it's all gonna be okay. It's out of our hands now. Let the audience deal with it. Let the audience enjoy it. And same with the video. Dylan just made it so easy for us, while still allowing us to feel like we had a huge role in the creation of our vision, and carrying it out.
Which is a sign of a good director.
Dude, honestly, I would not have had anybody else direct this video other than Dylan. We have good chemistry, because he's like, he's a professional, but he's not like the kind of guy that you'd be intimidated to talk to. He is very open, very, I won't say colloquial, because he's not like that. He's just like, I don't know. It's like I'm talking to you guys. Like he's a professional, and he's so good at what he does, but like you're not like, I'm not intimidated talking to you guys. I feel like I'm talking to like peers, and it was like talking to a peer with him, which is not always the case when you're working in film in Nashville, because there's people that are like, oh yeah, like Nicki Minaj is like my sister, and like not even like they're like, like they're like, oh, like
stuck up their own asses.
And like they're not usually arrogant, but they're just like, they have the clout that they could flex on you. They don't, but they're just like, super casual about being like these big wigs, and you're just like, oh my god, that's.
I've won 3 awards for music videos.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I won the science fair in 5th grade.
They're like, oh wow, that's great.
It's for my Potato Light project.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
So that EP release show you were talking about, I saw some footage on your stories.
Oh, some footage?
Oh, I saw a lot of
footage. It was like 3 hours of footage that we put up there. But it was like a 40-minute show.
I do want to talk about it, because the energy was insane.
Yes.
Were you expecting? No, you're fine. Were you expecting that type of energy?
No, we weren't expecting that audience. We weren't expecting anybody to show up, because we booked that show. We booked the venue for that show the Sunday before that Thursday.
Really?
Yes, because
Wow.
we didn't know for sure that we were going to release on the 31st. So we didn't know for sure if an EP release show would be viable the night before. So we were just like, okay, finally, we got it all figured out. Let's book the damn show. And we called Hawkins AV and Lame and Loki, who are all people that have been huge parts of our journey. Lame played the first show that we ever played in Nashville, part of the DIY scene, at this place called Hollywood Hideout, which is now has now had to discontinue doing shows. Rest in peace. It was a great house show venue, and the guy who plays guitar for them, Kevin Rice, is this dude. He's in Michigan right now, but he is like one of our closest friends in the Nashville DIY scene. Like he has booked us so many shows and has like had our back so long. He's like our uncle or like our brother. Like he's like, honestly, like Kevin is like he's like invited to be like a groomsman at my wedding if I ever get married. Like Kevin, like if there's ever a time that like you're worried that you can't be a groomsman at my wedding, just pull this clip up and I'll have to put you in.
This is it.
This is my invitation. So don't screw things up. No, he's a great guy, and
That's awesome.
He's done so much for us, and so he was part of this band called Lame, and then Hawkins AV Club was a band that we had. They were at our first show, or one of their guys was Zach, their guitar player was there, and we had just played a show with them earlier, like in maybe April or something. Yeah, it was 420. We had a 420 show with them at a place called No Billiards, and it was just the coolest show. Like, that was the first time my brother had gotten to see us live, and he's from
cool.
he's like he lives in St. Louis, and it was his first time out of town being able to see us, and it was just, the energy was unbelievable, and like the audience was so receptive. And I remember that was my first time seeing Hawkins, and they were just like, they're nuts. Like, they're so good. Like their recordings are good. Like they have great recordings and mixes, but like seeing them live is just next level.
Yeah.
Like the energy is just unbelievable. They have this song called Front Yard Wrestling and the fun thing about their titles is it has nothing to do with their songs ever, which is like
awesome.
Well, it makes it hard to find the song that I want to hear. But like I finally figured out Front Yard Wrestling, and it has this ending that's just like, you ever hear like a beat that you just can't help but be like, oh my God. Like you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe that they did that. And the end of that song like changed my life permanently.
There you go.
And then
Everybody
Loki is the guy I used to produce beats for back in high school.
Really?
Yeah, we've been friends since my junior year of high school, and he goes to MTSU, and we've been friends ever since. And it was so cool having him open up for us, because it was just like, dude, this is my friend, like opening up for us. I've known this guy since I was a junior in high school, and now here he is, like ushering in the first huge project I've ever done into the world. Like, it's so cool. But it was a very emotional night. Like it was so anxiety filled at the beginning, and we were super confused and frustrated and trying to just get everything figured out, because like, you know, it was hard to get there on time. It was hard to get everything, you know, sorted out. All the you know, just there was traffic. I remember that day that was like super obnoxious, and we were just struggling to get these sound checks done because we didn't have the space for a whole lot of time, because we didn't have a whole lot of money put into it. We just didn't have a whole lot of time to get things figured out before the show opened at 8. So we were just like rushing and running and super stressful, but the show could not have gone better. It went off without a hitch. And when we performed, it was like, I didn't cry on stage, but I definitely could have if I wasn't like purposefully trying not to.
Yeah.
Because it was like, to go out on a stage and just hear people screaming your lyrics back at you, without you asking them to, is just like, what am I doing? Like, where am I right now? Like, I go out there and we start Undertow, and people are singing the first verse, like not even just the chorus, they're singing the first verse, and I'm just like, this is like, I never would have ever thought I would ever have this when I was like 10 years old picking up guitar for the first time. There was never that moment where I was like, oh, I'm going to go out on stage and people are going to know my songs and sing them with like, you know, the fire of 1,000 suns. Like, it's never going to happen. people were crowd surfing and moshing to
That's
our songs.
that's the thing, because your type of music, you wouldn't think that people would be
no,
moshing
exactly.
to it.
Well, so we are really like Connor, our guitar player, and I, Connor, our guitar player, and me, and Taylor, our drummer. We are particularly big fans of the Nashville hardcore scene.
Yeah.
And we listen to a lot of different hardcore groups and acts out of Nashville, and that was my first introduction to moshing, was like going to see our friend James in 30 Nights of Violence at the end in Nashville, and just seeing the way people behave in those pits. It's unbelievable. It's terrifying. I've never been in a hardcore pit. I've only been in like punk and alternative pits because they're a lot easier.
Yeah.
But hardcore pits, it's like you might die. Just be okay with that. It might happen. So
I'm gonna step back here and just watch.
I'm always an edge pitter. I always stand at the
pushing?
edge and I'm like, get back in there. I'm like the bumpers at the bumper car places. But yeah, so that was my first introduction to moshing, and because of that, we have a lot of people that are also big fans of hardcore that come to our shows that know us through there, that get these pits started. So it's really fun seeing someone slam dancing to Undertow. It's just really fun. This song about like feeling emotionally vulnerable and just not happy, and then someone's just like boom, 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 and like swinging their arms around about to hit somebody. It's so much fun. But no, that was the craziest show. And to I'm not going to say piggyback. I hate when people say, I'm going to piggyback off of that. I hate when people say that.
You didn't even say it.
I didn't even say it. I was about to say it, and that's why I was like, I'm not going to stoop that low. Our drummer, he told me that the second he got off stage, he just started like sobbing because he was just so overwhelmed with like joy. And Connor, Matthew, and I went back behind the this big place called Right in Our Rehearsals where we had our show, and we went to one of the back hallways after we had like collected all the money and the funds, and like the night was basically over, and we just like looked at each other and we're just like laughing and crying. Like it was like, because you're just like, it was like the end of a Harry Potter movie. It was just like, we did it, we finally did it, we saved the world, or like we released our EP, and it was just like, like it's just like nothing prepares you for that kind of thing.
No, absolutely not.
It was the highest I'd ever been in my life. Emotionally, I wasn't on drugs.
Because your mom and
my
dad
mom
are
would
watching right
kill me. No, it was next level, and we went to Cookout afterwards, and then then I ate way too much dairy, and then it ruined my digestive system. I had to put a real big damper on everything, but it was a lot of fun.
It was all worth it, though.
It was all worth it.
That milkshake was delicious.
That peanut butter milkshake was like great, but like honestly, I probably shouldn't have partaken in that.
Are you lactose intolerant?
I am one of those lactose intolerants
that doesn't care about your digestive health.
Honestly, I do more now than I did at that moment.
That was your breaking point.
I really don't go for dairy that much. I'm not a huge fan of dairy products. I'm a vegetarian. I was a vegan for a while, and just mainly I went vegan because I just didn't like the way cheese made me, like the way that cheese and milk made me feel.
Sure.
But really, it just boils down to I just probably shouldn't eat dairy to begin with. So now most of what I eat is just like vegetables and water. That sounds so weird. Like I'm just eating a bell pepper and drinking water.
No, that sounds great.
That's actually that was the one I had before I came here.
Is it really?
No.
On the way here with the teriyaki sauce.
Actually, no. Actually, my roommate's girlfriend, who is my future roommate, she'll be living with us in the new house. She actually she's from Lebanon, and so and her family's from Lebanon, not Lebanon, Tennessee.
No,
Country.
Country, yeah. And she made hummus, and I've never had hummus that wasn't Sabra hummus.
Right. Homemade hummus.
Yeah, it was homemade hummus, and like it changed my entire life.
Oh man.
Like there's this Middle Eastern market apparently in Murfreesboro that I'd never even heard of. And they brought back fresh made pitas from there. Oh man. And this homemade hummus, dude, I literally, like, you can ask them like to their face, I would not stop raving about how much I love this hummus. I was probably more emotional about this hummus than I was at the show, honestly. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. It was special.
Well, there you go.
Hummus and EP release shows, guys. That's where
I get them every time.
That's where I get my serotonin.
And so does dairy, but in the bad kind of way.
Yeah. It gets me.
Just sometimes.
It just knows me too well. You know what I mean? It knows my weak spots.
This is true.
Like all enemies should.
I know, honestly. Honestly, it's a great friend until it's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I love cheese.
Who doesn't love
Yeah,
cheese?
you can't not love cheese.
I have vegan friends that are like, oh my God, how do you like that? I'm like, have you ever eaten cheese? Like, do you forget that this is literally the way to solve any emotional problem you've ever had?
Yeah.
Bite into a piece of funky cheese with some fruit and tell me that it's not the best thing you've ever eaten.
Oh yeah.
And I'll show you a liar.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you can't.
Give me a pretzel stick and some cheese dip.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like next level.
No, of course.
Next level. And I tried to not eat as much cheese because, one, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It can be.
But
Good
it's
cheese.
also like it screws with my whole system. This is a fun topic to come like right out of the EP.
It is
so
not
the
the
EP
first
is
time.
about fresh mozzarella.
Capsize. It's actually just about cheese.
Yeah, it was
Capsize
about
is
dunking
about-
into the marinara.
Yeah, exactly. When it falls into the marinara, pulled into the undertow.
Mm.
So let's take it back several years then, okay?
Several years.
Several years.
Like
Getting-
a lot of years.
Getting into music.
How did your parents meet? Oh, okay, okay. Not that many years.
Not that far.
I don't know
far.
that story. No. So where are we going with this?
Yeah. Well, how did you just start become?
How did I get into
interested
music?
in playing music and singing and
That's a
things
good
like
question. So I had a music teacher. That's it. No, I had a music teacher.
He was great. There you go.
I was no, I had a music teacher named Jerry Tesh. I'm friends with him on Facebook, so I'll tag him when y'all post this.
You
I'll be
should.
like, hey Jerry.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, Jerry? No, and he brought ukuleles to school, and that was part of our curriculum. As we would learn, I don't know if it's part of the curriculum. It might have just been like learn an instrument, but like 5th grade, I learned. So I just transferred to a new school halfway through the year. I originally went to a Catholic school, and then I just like it was just not working out for me. I have too much of a problem with authority. It just wasn't going well.
Yeah. Well.
So I was like, I'm gonna go to a secular public school.
the
And-
Satanists.
Yeah,
man.
the devil worshippers. Yeah, and so I go to this public school, Rossview Elementary
Yeah.
School. It was the first year they had opened, actually.
Oh, really?
And I transferred halfway through the year. So I
Okay.
was new. I was the new kid. And that was the first time in my life I'd ever been the new kid. And it was very weird for me. It was a culture shock. I had been at that Catholic school since kindergarten. So it was just me and like 12 other Catholic children my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
like and
That's a huge change.
no, it is a huge change, especially when it's like they're all from like pretty much the same walk of life because it's a private school and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everything. And I was just like, wow, like this is so weird. Like I went to this public school and there was kids like cursing.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And there's-
cracking beers in the
They're
lunch.
cracking beers and smoking meth and like it was just wild. No, and like bad mouthing teachers. And I was like,
yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you guys talk to teachers like you speak ever, and like we were allowed
And
to.
don't get hit for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And we're allowed to talk at lunch. We were allowed to like not walk in line. We were allowed to like have recess where we could like actually play and stuff. Sorry, my neck just like made a noise because I cracked it.
It was the dairy.
It was all that lactic acid. But yeah, it was like so weird. And, so I was like naturally like having a very hard time transitioning towards public school
Yeah.
because I've just always been a little off the beaten path in terms of my humor. Even in Catholic school, I was like just super like, I don't know, like I've always had a weird way of delivering and saying things, and I've learned to be more self-aware. But back then, I was definitely not. I was very like I was weird. My parents didn't think that, of course. They
Well,
loved
yeah.
me, and every time I
What
say
parent
they're-
would?
every time I say I was weird, they're like, Patrick, I don't know why you think that. You were so normal. I'm like, what is normal to like someone who's like 40 years older than me? Like, what is normal to them in a child? So like, whatever. But yeah, so there's this music teacher named Jerry Tash, and he had ukuleles just like lined up on the wall, and I was just like, whoa, like. That's a thing right there. Like that is a whole ass thing I could play right now.
I can touch that?
Yeah,
No,
I could touch
no
it. Well,
way.
and like that's like the thing is that we were allowed to just play the instruments there.
Yeah.
And so we learned how to play songs on ukulele, and I thought to myself, I'm going to be the best ukulele player in this class. I'm serious.
No, that's great.
I was like, I'm going to be better than everyone. And that was like kind of like bad now looking back on it. Like I'm not that competitive now, but I was like, I want to be better so that people like me and like they have a reason to like look at me and stuff like that. So I went home and I just like watched videos of people playing. I would go, instead of going out to recess, I would go to the music room, ask Mr. Tesh if I could play the ukulele with a couple of other my friends, and we'd all just play ukulele, and I would just get better at playing ukulele until eventually I asked to play a song in front of the class.
Wow.
And it was the song, oh God, what was the song? Well, we were learning I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. A very heavily changed version of that, because apparently that song is like more dirty than it lets on. Apparently, like that song is apparently like not super fifth grader friendly, which I didn't know. That's like the most like vanilla song I can think of, but apparently it like has like some like
I have to look at the lyrics.
Like,
I don't know.
I don't remember, but like yeah, so I don't remember what song it was. I will never remember, but I performed that song in front of the class, and everyone was like, well, that's cool. Nobody really cared, but like I was like, for me it was huge. It was like I just broke through, and like I did my first thing, and eventually I signed up to be a part of the choir, did the choir thing, and it was like a huge step for me in like realizing that, one, I can sing and I should be more confident in that. Two, I can learn an instrument. And so I started taking guitar lessons, and that was a lot harder because guitar is like, you know, like a ukulele is small and it's 4 strings. And it's like it's perfect for a 10-year-old.
When you're in 5th year,
yeah. And then like then you have to transition to like the biggest thing you've ever held in your arms ever, and it has razor sharp wires, and you have to play it. And but naturally I just started taking lessons, and I slacked off for a long time, and then one day just clicked eventually when I was like 12 that like, hey, like I can do this. And the guy that taught me everything I know in guitar, Jimmy K, never let me slack off from that moment. He taught me how to get better and better, let me sit in with him in his band several times when I was a kid.
Very cool.
To give me the opportunity to practice in front of an audience and play something in front of the audience. And I will be eternally grateful to him and every other mentor, including Jerry Tesh, that like was there for me in that time of my life where I just had no idea what I was doing because I was a kid, and like kids don't know anything at all. Especially if you're Patrick, you just don't know anything. And then like music was like the only thing I had. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into music, and then started perform. This is the second leg of this story. So
okay,
I started performing live music in front of an audience when I was like 13 at this place in the Gulch in Nashville called Two Old Hippies.
I've heard of this place.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if they're still. They might be still in business.
I think they still are.
I wouldn't be surprised. It was a cool place.
Yeah.
But I remember playing this show. They had an open mic where there were so few people signing up for this open mic because it was like a new thing, and it was in the middle of a store. So it was like not a whole lot of people are like. It's not like a super. And it was in the middle of the day too, so it was like not a super hot commodity kind of show. But like, I remember the first show I ever played was like 2 p.m, and it was a 30-minute set.
Wow.
30 minutes, and I remember opening with Car Wash Blues by Jim Croce.
Yes.
Okay.
And ending with You're Beautiful by James Blunt, and it going very badly because it was in the wrong key, and I had a voice like a little flute. And needless to say, there was some cracking going on. There was more cracks than something that cracks a lot. It was bad. And but from that point forward, I think when I was 14, I played my first 3-hour show.
3-hour show.
3-hour
Was
show.
that with the full band?
No, it was acoustic show at this place called the Alley.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's where Strawberry Alley.
We've played there several times.
Yeah. Of course, it's out of business now. It used to be Bruni's before.
Rest in
and
peace.
then it's
Great burgers.
Alley, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I remember
Delicious
that.
burgers.
I remember that.
Well, and not for you anymore, of course.
Not anymore,
Yeah.
because they're out of business too. I'm a vegetarian. But,
Right.
No, that was like the coolest place, and I remember I was given a 3-hour show by the owners there, and it was so weird. It's just like so weird thinking that like a 14-year-old would be doing something like that. Because if I heard a 14-year-old come up to me like, yo, I just played a 3-hour gig, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you?
You know, now that I hear this, I remember Andrea telling us about Patrick.
Yeah. Andrea.
Really?
Yeah. Well, she has a new place now in
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Missouri.
kidding. That's wild. Well, my brother's in St. Louis, so maybe I'll go play there sometime.
Yeah.
But so I was playing these shows and like late into the night, and tearing down and going home at like midnight.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, midnight when you're like a middle schooler is like unbelievable.
Yeah. But how cool is it for the owners to be like, this
it
is
was so
fine,
cool,
go
and
ahead.
it gave me so much experience. Like I owe all of my endurance, like musical endurance that I've got, and like the strength I have in my voice to just like grinding out over the years playing these shows. And shortly after that is when I joined Mopai, which was this like blues unit that was together for like 4 or 5 years, and we would play these 3-hour shows all over the place.
Yeah.
And like playing over a band, like singing over a band is hard enough, but singing over a band for 3 hours
Yeah.
when you're a child and you don't have any good vocal technique.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I never lost my voice once. I don't know how. Like, it's unbelievable. It is
Tenacity.
it is physically like puzzles me like how that even happened. But because of that now, like that's why the low blow, like I really push myself with these vocal lines. Like Capsize is so much higher than I wanted it to be vocally. I wanted it to be an A. It's in G.
Wow.
Because my band was like, no, it sounds better in I didn't want it to be in G. I want it to be lower than G. I want it to be an F. That's musical theory for you, y'all. I wanted it to be an F, and then my band was like, no, we're putting it in G because it sounds better higher. And I'm like, okay, but like here's the thing that like you need to like here's like the interesting thing about that is like like a voice is like not like a fucking guitar where you can just like just like tune up and just like do it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I will die, and it'll be your fault, and I'll just die on the stage, and everyone will be like, well, there lies Patrick. That's like I literally said that, and they're just like, no, like just do it. So I was like, okay, all right, we're gonna just warm up and just hope for the best. And I do Capsize and Undertow, which Undertow is a whole step higher than Capsize.
Wow.
And it hits higher notes. Like the thought I'd fall so low.
Yeah.
I have to do that in full voice or mix voice live, and it's terrifying every time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like break everything.
Yeah.
But like because I've had that endurance like training over the years, and like I've had like good instruction from like different vocal coaches. I had 2 vocal coaches, both named Randy. One was Randy Michaels, and she was a she taught me when I was like maybe like 13 or 14. I'm so sorry, Randy, if you're watching now or listening now, because like I was the worst student ever. Like I was so bad. I was so distracted all the time. I didn't do any of my homework. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I feel so sorry for her. I legitimately like apologize so deeply for being such a bad student. But then
She's listening.
I hope she is, and she's just like, I hate you, Patrick. She has like a dartboard and she's throwing darts at my face. But then there was another Randy Kraft, who taught me, not the serial killer, by the way. There's a serial killer named Randy Kraft, different guy, I promise. This
So
other
you think?
Yeah.
No, I know, because this Randy Kraft is awesome, and he spells his name with a C, not a K. And he
K
does
for killer.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
K for killer, C for singer.
Candy.
Singer. No, he does a lot of stuff with the circle players in Nashville, which is like a theater company, and he does a lot of theater stuff, and he's like an amazing musical director, has one of the best vocal ranges of any person I've ever met. And he taught me, like, he really like nailed technique and like contemporary style into my head.
Yeah.
Cause like I used to like, I'll have to show y'all some point these videos of like when I used to sing back when I was like 16, 17. It was like horrible. Like I don't mean like it was bad. Like it sounded good, but it was like I was destroying my voice. Like it sounds so much different than the way I sing now. Like now I'd say I have a pretty like open, like kind of brighter sounding voice, and like it's a lot more, I don't know. It's just open and higher.
Yeah.
And I was literally forcing like a super like gruff, like distorted, dirty, like, and it was bad. Like it was so bad, and I was hurting myself too. And that's the thing. And Randy was just like, no, like here's the thing. You are built for this kind of singing, and you're trying to be this, and you don't need to be doing that. You should be trying for this. And that's kind of what opened me up to like R&B and like soul and like pop music.
Yeah.
Because before I was just like, oh no, blues is everything. Blues is life. Nothing else. Country and blues and soul music is all I need. And then he was like, no, like listen to like some Stevie, listen to some Ray Charles and some like, Brian McKnight and stuff like that. And I was like, all right. And then now I'm here. So that's kind of, that's the long-winded way of saying elementary school music teacher, playing gigs. That's what happened.
Isn't it great to know that you had these great mentors in your life, though?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people can't say that they had that,
And the wonderful thing is none of them ever tried to, like, take advantage of me in any way. Like, they have always, I'm so lucky to have mentors that have done nothing but, like, look out for my best interest.
Yeah.
Because, like, you hear all these horror stories of, like, these mentors that are, like, just, like, being super selfish and they want it to be about them. And they'll give these kids a chance and then they'll make it about them and they're super narcissistic.
Living vicariously through them.
Exactly. Never with any of these people.
That's awesome.
They've never done anything but look out for my best interest and, like, given me opportunities that have helped me better myself. And that's something that, like, is so valuable to me that I've never, like... I don't know. I've been scared many times in the last few years about the music business, just hearing these terrible stories of, like, people that just like ruin people's lives because they're just horrible people and they just only care about themselves and, like, especially on, like, a corporate level. And it just, like, for me, it gives me hope knowing people like them, and I think I'm getting a phone call. I'm not going to answer it. But it's
sorry, phone call.
Sorry, phone call. I think it's my girlfriend. So if you're listening, I'm sorry, babe. I hope it's not an emergency. But yeah, they changed my life for the better, and I could honestly not thank all of those people enough. I will, like, send this as a private message to all of them once it gets posted and just be like, yo, like, you're at this timestamp. Like, listen to that one part, put it on your resume or whatever, and then, like, you can
just take this clip of this
take
podcast
this clip
no
and
one
say,
listens to.
No. People will listen to this. I promise.
That's scary to think about.
People, well, because I know that at least this will happen. My parents will listen to this.
Wonderful.
And my mom is so supportive that she'll be like, I want to listen to the podcast again. And she'll listen to the same podcast again to hear the answers and whatever.
Our mom's great.
Yeah. Mom is she's like a mom,
Yeah. Well, they're good for at least 20 plays.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Minimum.
So I kind of want to talk about your writing process a little bit.
Sure. Ooh, this is fun.
So you said you were the primary.
Yeah.
For the vocals especially.
Yeah.
Sure.
For the lyrics a lot. And the melody a lot. And the chord progressions. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm the primary songwriter, and kind of the way that it all happened is Rockin' a Hard Place existed. 2:15 a.m. existed.
Yeah. But before the Low Blow.
Yeah, before the Low Blow. These songs were, like, songs that, like, I'd written just, like, one off. I'm not gonna really release it doing anything. I'm just gonna kind of have them in my back pocket. Which I have a lot of songs that, like, I've never used and probably will never use. But, like, these two songs came forward because they just fit. And anyway, so, like, yeah, these songs existed, and like I said, we rewrote 2:15 a.m. But Capsize, Undertow, and Somewhere Off in the Distance are, like, I'd like to talk about those a lot because those are, like,
go ahead.
New for me. So I've always kind of written songs to fit a visual, like, landscape. And that's kind of, like, something that I think is, like, different about my style compared to, like, some other people I might know, which there's probably people that do write like I do. But, like, what I do usually when I write a song is I try to visualize, like, a vista of, like, a certain kind of landscape that I'm, like, within. 2:15 a.m. I, like, visualize, like, a front seat of a car with, like, traffic lights glaring through, like, the rainy windshield kind of thing.
Okay.
And, like, the AC's on. Like, that's literally that's exactly where it is. It's in the front seat of a car, and it's said in the song too, of, like, we're driving in the rain and things like that.
Yeah.
Or in, like, Capsize is, like, on a stormy sea, obviously.
Yeah.
And Rockin' a Hard Place is, like, literally, like you're, like stuck on, like, a huge rock or something like that kind of stuff, or you're drowning, or you're being, stuff like that. So, like, what kind of happened is, like, along with the aesthetic discovery of, like, this, like, nautical theme, kind of came Undertow and Capsize right out of the gate, like, immediately. Capsize was, like, a 1-day write, and then Undertow was, like, a 2-week write.
Wow.
Because Capsize just flew right out of me. Like, it was just like, I know exactly what I want to say right now, and I'm going to write it down and make it happen. And then I, like, wrote that in, like, a day, maybe in a couple hours, probably. It's more accurate. And then Undertow was, like, a pulling taffy or pulling teeth is probably the more accurate term, because it was very slow and not incredibly rewarding immediately. But it was like I knew that I wanted to kind of follow up this Capsize thing with like something that was within this world, because I had more to say in a different way. Because Capsize is like, it's like being afraid of yourself. It's like being afraid of like acknowledging yourself and like who you are, and like to me it's about like being afraid of being afraid of hurting yourself, being afraid of not being what it is that you truly deserve to be. Undertow is more like I'm afraid of disappointing everyone else.
Okay.
And I didn't say it in Capsize enough. And Undertow is like an answer to that. The problem with that is it's a lot harder to confront how much you might disappoint other people. So that song took a lot longer just to find the right things to say. And
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person where I don't like writing a song that's bad and then rewriting it. I would rather just write the right song the first time.
Yeah.
And that's a bad thing. I really wish I just got off of that. And so Undertow is a great lesson in writing a really bad song first, writing a better song the second time, and writing a good song at the end. And the first draft of Undertow sounded like The Climb by Miley Cyrus. I'm not kidding. It was, I'm trying to remember what the chorus was. It was like, take my hand and pull me under. I can hear a voice in the morning thunder. No. Undertow. Seriously, that is what it was. And I was like, I was like, this is so sick. And then they're like, hey, like, are you Hannah Montana? Like, did you just wrote a Hannah Montana song? And I was like, oh my God, it's not Hannah Montana. I'm like, no, it's definitely like, this is like the Miley Cyrus Hannah Montana movie right here. So finally I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to rewrite this and make it better. And that's where the chorus for Undertow came from, was just like people being like, yo, this ain't it. This ain't it, Chief. It could be so much better. And so the writing process is very much like write, revise is kind of how it works. Is like
you kind of get a cookie cutter of what you want it to be,
and it's very visual, visual. Like I'm very cemented in like the world that because I don't want to write a song that's just gonna be like, oh, like I don't know. I don't write songs to just be like, oh, like this is a fun song to listen to. Like that's a good thing. Like I want a song to be fun to listen to, but I don't write a song for the sake of it being fun to listen to.
Yeah.
I would rather write a song for someone to be able to like be transported somewhere.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest thing is like, I'm a huge fan of artists that with their music and their performance, they're able to make an audience feel like kind of like a religious experience.
Sure. Yeah.
St. Paul and the Broken Bones is an example of that. They have these songs that are so like they're obviously like an amazing like soul R&B kind of band, but if you listen to some of their songs, there's like the song called Sea of Noise on their album Sea of Noise. It's the opening track, and it's like it feels like you're floating through like the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And like just like, oh my God, like, and like it's just like this simple song. It's just like it's like the most simple song, but it's so beautiful. And Tank and the Bangas is another example. They had the Tiny Desk, and they were playing like with like rulers on like one of those like things, and like they were playing with like staplers and bells and stuff, and they were just doing like that kind of stuff. But like you listen to it and you're just like, I'm like somewhere else right now. I'm like, I'm not in this little office. I'm like on a roller coaster, like things like that. And I just always had like a huge respect for bands that were able to just be like, or artists that were just able to be able to like you are not in your living room listening right now. You were like somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's something that like is the first thing I think of whenever I'm writing something. Like production can fix it later and like make it sound like that. But like if the song doesn't take you there by itself, it doesn't, to me, that's not like a good low blow song. There has to be visual storytelling in the words and music alone is kind of the whole.
That's cool. This might be a weird question to ask, but how do you get there? Like, because you're saying you're putting yourself into this world.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you think of a line and you're like, oh man, this makes me think of this?
Yeah, it's like mantra based kind of.
Okay.
Because like what'll happen is I'll just be I do a lot of like idle meditation, not like where I'm like I'll sit down and like, oh, like, all that stuff. But like when I'm driving or like I'm sitting by myself, I'll just sit there and I'll just like do this thing where I'll like just follow thoughts to the end of the road, wherever they are.
Yeah.
And it'll often be about music. And so I'll just follow this musical thought to the end of it. And eventually 9 times out of 10, I'll reach this line or this word or this sentence that just like fits this like feeling I have.
Mm-hmm.
And for Capsize the EP, a lot of those songs were written based around like words, like just words. Like Capsize as a word came to me like just while thinking about it. Undertow as a word came to me as well. Like just like that just makes like I feel like that word like in cap, it's like a mantra. Like I feel it, and I would get into that space not really just by like being like undertow, but like word association. Like undertow makes me think of BioShock Infinite, because there's that one power called undertow, and that makes me think of like a stormy sea, because there's that stormy sea, and that makes me think of like a huge tentacle monster pulling me into the water. And that makes me think of drowning, and that makes me feel of disappointing my loved ones, and that makes me think of this one time that like, and then
you're there.
It's there, and it's not anything super cosmic or like hippy dippy. It's very just like, hey, like where does this thought process take me? And it's not like I don't like to be like super like pretentious in the way that like I say like, oh, like I get in this like weird headspace. I don't do that.
Sure, of course
it's very like very upfront, very organic. I've never written a song and been like in this weird headspace about it. Like 9 times out of 10, I write a song because I'm ready to write it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't like forcing writing songs.
No.
It goes very poorly for me. It's I can't tell, like it's like that one phrase. It's like, how do you write like a good song? You write like 100 really bad songs.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
I could show you my notes right now, and just you could see the notes of just like really bad lyrics of like me being like super sad and trying to write something right then and there because I'm sad, and then it's like, whoa, that's like
you come back a day later and you're like, man.
I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have written that line. That's very
who was
terrifying.
that guy?
Yeah, who wrote that? Yeah, it's just not. It's not worth it. You're not gonna get anything out of writing something like that, other than maybe an example of what not to do.
Sure.
Which is useful at times, but yeah, that's basically how I get there, just through following thoughts to the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Until it leads to something else, inspires them, which is something you learn from improv too. Is like,
yeah, that's cool how that goes hand in hand.
It does,
yeah.
And improv has helped my songwriting so much too, especially musical improv, because I do a lot of stuff where I have to like write songs as the piano's playing, as based off a suggestion. So like, I'll get a suggestion of like we do this thing called NPR, where we do an NPR radio broadcast.
Okay.
And then I'm always the musical guest. And so they'll be like, so for example, like let's say like last week we did a show where that we were talking about zombies, and I had to do a song called I don't remember what it was called, but it was something about like, I don't know, it was something like craving someone's flesh or something like that, and it was like romantic too, but like so like I had to come up with like these words and like things like that, and a lot of it is just like word association, like where can I take this that's within this realm, but like it relates to it, but it's also like changing and warping, so it's interesting.
Yeah, kind of like forming a word bank in the back of your head.
It is like a word cloud. It's like the word clouds that you get in a like that you do in like 5th grade. Honestly, I bet if you were to do a word cloud of all the lyrics from like the low blow songs, you'd probably get a lot of like babies and like crazies and and drowning and all that stuff, and but that's just because like I think that that EP comes from all the same headspace.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so cohesive. Even though I wrote Rock and Hard Place 3 years ago, I was in a similar place than I am now. Like I was in this place where I did not know what I was doing. I was super anxious, and like Rock and Hard Place is like a very fun, upbeat song.
It is.
But the lyrics, it's like an existential crisis on steroids. Like it's like is there something I should know because this feeling's got to go? Like, I refuse to be controlled by my anxieties. Like that's like scary stuff to write about when you're like 17 or whatever. But like that's what like
that's how you're.
That's
feeling.
where I was, and that's where my music is right now too. Because I wrote about all that stuff after I'd already like gotten past it.
Yeah.
For the EP, it's kind of how it all turned out. Is like I would go through something and then I would process it, figure it out, and then write about it. It's never a good idea to write about your feelings when you're in your feelings.
Well, it goes back to what you're saying before. Who was that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Who is that guy? Because like you can understand your feelings from like an insider's perspective, but it takes that outsider's perspective to really accurately describe what it is I was going through. You know what I mean?
And you become the outsider at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you've realized the conclusion at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. The conclusion is the most important part to like anything I write. Is like, that's actually like that brings up a good point. Is like all the low songs, though they are very sad in nature in the writing. It has sort of this not this mantra, but there's like this message of like success or like, you know, like hope underneath it all, you know, like, I don't know, like it's dark. Like Undertow is like, I never thought I'd fall so low to this undertow. And like Capsize is just like, I'm falling down and like all this stuff. So I guess maybe there's not a whole lot of hope, but I think the musical sonical, that's not a word.
I like it though.
The sonical particles.
Gotta get these rings, bro.
Exactly. Bionicle sonical. That's the worst thing that I've ever said.
Good band name though.
Yeah. Ooh, hey, maybe.
Deathcore.
Oh, Bionicle sonical.
Ooh.
But
Did you say yeet? But
yeah, the sonical atmosphere, the sonic atmosphere that we're trying to achieve is very hopeful. I think
it's kind of counterpoint to the lyrics.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to, and it's almost not childish, like almost youthful in some of the melody lines and some of the music and mixing choices too. Like the keys on Capsize, it's almost like a music box kind of thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted that, like just like it's kind of corny and starry-eyed, but like
it has a sense of like innocence.
That's
as well.
what it's about. It's it's about your feelings being darker than what you're ready for, and that innocence plays really well against the darkness of the lyrics. And that's kind of what we all really wanted, that while our creative identity in this EP, I should make very clear, is not exclusively mine. Like it is very much Matthew, Connor, Cody, and Taylor's identity as well. Like they have so much invested in this, and that's something that I'm very grateful for. Is that like it's not like I have 4 guys helping me write this EP, my EP.
Yeah.
Or I have 4 guys playing my music. It's 4 guys playing their music with me. Because like though I might have written a lot of the lyrics, like these guys are so passionate about this stuff, and they write and they change things. Matthew wrote 2:15 a.m. with me.
Yeah.
Taylor and Connor and Cody wrote. Well, no, all of them wrote "Somewhere Off in the Distance" with me. That was originally Connor and Cody's song that they had written to be an impression of my writing. Actually, they did it to kind of make fun of my writing.
But then it stuck.
It stuck because that melody and that chord progression in "Somewhere Off in the Distance" is like textbook Patrick Long writing. And then I was like, but that's like kind of sick though. And we kept it.
That's awesome.
And the lyrics were like Taylor and Cody and me like kind of wrote the lyrics for that song. So it was a lot of like them like I understand what you're going through, so I'm gonna like say like, what if you put this lyric in there, because that's kind of how I felt. Yeah, and so that's kind of how that all came to fruition.
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the same goal in mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same goal in mind. We have there's a lot of passion behind all the stuff we put out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like really glad and excited to work on this next project that's coming up.
And that's like on the heels, right there on the heels of.
We have a lot done for this next project already, writing wise for sure.
That's awesome.
It is going to be bigger than Capsize, which Capsize is big for an EP, I think, in terms of
first
production.
EP especially.
For production wise, like I think it's pretty big, pretty ambitious. What we did, because I think a lot of people, which, like, I think it's normal, and I think it's I usually enjoy EPs when it's simply just a collection of songs that flow together, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's stuff that like it's good and it's cohesive, and I like that. But I think what we did is I'm particularly proud of us, and I'm not super proud of a lot of things I do, but I'm very proud of this EP because I feel like we kind of made like an album out of an EP. Like, like I think we went big with it, and that's something that like I'm really like I don't know. I've always wanted to do that, and I never have in my entire life. And this is like the first time I felt like super like fulfilled in something I've done.
Yeah.
So that's why,
which is hard to do when you're a musician.
It sounds like it sounds like I'm super about my band, but like I really like I'm so proud of like because it's not like I did this. Like,
no,
they did it.
It was a team,
and they like it's more theirs I'd say than it is mine because I really just kind of wrote the beginnings of everything, and had my mind in it for the rest of it, but they're the ones who took it and warped it into what you hear on the EP. And for that, it's like their EP, you know, like and that's why I'm so like impressed with it. Cause it's just like, I sang on it, I played guitar on it, and I wrote some of it, most of the lyrics and stuff. But like, it's not just, it's like, it's so cool. Like not just being my EP. Like it feels so good having other people involved.
It's the Low Blows EP.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like we're in a band.
It's like a band or
something like that.
Yeah, it's like a band.
It's like 5 dudes playing together. Not like that. But.
Right, different kind of play.
Yeah. That's the next project.
Right. I can't wait now.
Slumber party.
Do you experience that though? Because I know I do. Whenever I listen to myself singing, I'm like, oh my god, I just can't listen. I can't listen to myself.
I do like my singing.
You do?
And I'm not like a huge fan of it. I'm not like, oh my god, like I'm amazing. Like I'm not like, oh my god, my voice is so good. I'm more so like, no, like I like the way I sing. But that's mainly just because I'm really familiar with how I sing.
Sure. And
I sing the way I sing because I've tweaked and changed the way I sing to be like singers I like to listen to. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And that's why I like listening to my own, like I listen to my own music, and some people will be like, no, that's like super like arrogant Kanye West thing to do. And I'm like, no, like it's just like if you made a sandwich that had all your favorite ingredients on it, would you not want to eat it? And that's what it is for me. Is like we worked so hard and we made this EP that it's like everything we like. We like super intimate. We like super grandiose. We like super emotional. We like super whatever this and that. And I like delicate but also powerful vocals. And I've worked so hard to make that. And like the fact that we've gotten to release that, like of course I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna like listen to it. And I understand other people that don't like listening to their own vocals. I personally don't like listening to my vocals before they've been mixed or changed or anything like that, because like my vocals are good pre-tuning. Like they're good, but like with the style of music we're doing, there's so much going on that if you leave the vocals like kind of out of tune, because like it's high stuff, like it's super high difficult stuff, if you were to like put the original undertow vocal on it, you would just be like, oh wow, this is a real letdown. Like, and it's not like we're like changing my melody lines. It's like I'm like 5 cents flat, and we'll just like pitch it up till it's like only like 2 cents flat. Yeah. Or like, you know, or it's like, you know, 10 cents sharp, we'll bring it down to like 4 or 5 cents sharp, you know.
It makes a difference though.
It does make a difference. It's more cohesive, and it's like I think there's a bad rep in the music industry and in the consumer world where it's like, oh my god, they tuned their vocals.
Yeah, but it's not auto-tune.
So fake. No, it's not like we're like going like you know, like we're not T-Pain. Like we're just like it's a very common thing. It's very common
listen
practice.
To any top 40 song, it's gonna
literally
be
any like yes, exactly. And it's like, and it's not like we're tuning it perfectly. We're just making it so that these notes are like, so I don't have to go back and redo my vocals, you know, months and months after they've already been recorded again and again and again. You know, vocal takes can only go so far till the singer starts to like not get better takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. For sure.
I've spent like countless 3-hour nights trying to get these, because like right when we were recording the vocals for this EP was around the time where I was getting sick a lot because it was winter when we were recording. So I was getting sick a lot and having a lot of these like problems. And 215 was recorded while I was sick.
Oh, really?
The take that you hear on the album, I was sick. And the only reason any of those notes are there at all, and actually that one is not tuned. 2:15 a.m. is not tuned at all. But I had hot peppermint tea. And that was my secret, is I just loosened everything up, you know, made everything relax, and that's how I got that take out. But yeah, hindsight, probably could have just re-recorded those vocals, but you know,
well, that song's also pretty raw too.
Yeah,
so
and
I think
it
that
kind
adds
of worked.
To the, you know,
it kind of worked at that point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure. I don't think vocal tuning is a bad thing to
yeah,
do.
it's not. It's
I would. There's some
Not the
bands.
devil.
There's some bands where I'm like, I wish you tuned your vocals because
Yeah.
because they have good singers. Like I remember listening to like the 1975. They had like an early they had a band before the 1975 called like Drive Like I Do or something like that.
okay.
And if you listen to some of their demos, like Maddie Healy is an amazing singer, but like there's just parts where you're just like, wow, like the tuning that's on the album version in the 1975 stuff is so much better than like these like super whiny, pitchy vocals that you have on this other one. And it's like, not because it's pitched right, it's just because it's more cohesive. It fits, you know, like, and it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's as bad of a thing as people give it.
No.
I think it's because people think it's faking it, or it's like,
No, I sang these parts.
I sang I trust
This is
me, I
me.
sang these parts. I hit those notes. They're just a little flat in the
Yeah.
take. Like, yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Oh yeah. Well, no one. I mean, no one's gonna be exactly on the note. It's
Yeah.
almost
If you do,
impossible
you
to
got
do.
lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, and if like someone doubts that I can sing these parts, just come to a show and
Yeah.
I'll prove that I can sing them. It might not be as laser pitch, you know, as they are in the album, but like at least it'll sound like them. I mean, people come to our shows every time we do shows, so at least we're doing something right.
Who wants to
live.
hear a perfect live show though?
Yeah.
Not me.
Well, yeah, I don't think we're perfect live, and I think that's the best part. Is it's a lot more.
It's real.
It's
It's
a lot
real.
more real.
There's
a lot
there's no
more intense,
tracks.
too.
It's all everyone playing their instruments and singing.
Exactly.
And that's what's
it's
great
a lot
about it.
louder and intense too.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the great thing about live is you can crank it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the best thing is having to sing over it.
Yes.
That's the best
Screech.
part. Just
No, we've been there for the 3 and 4 hour long shows.
oh
and
my god,
it's,
yeah. I'm so glad I don't do those anymore
Same.
because like
It is rough.
it is very rough, and also it kind of it puts you in a place where like you're kind of treated differently as an artist. Like, well, you're not treated as an artist when
You're treated as a dance monkey dance.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you're a performer, but you're not there to gain or garner the audience's favor or attention. You are there to serve as atmosphere.
Yeah.
Even if you
Yes.
are like the featured band of the night at
Yep.
this live music venue, you are there to be atmosphere.
Yep.
And it's very. Some people love that, and that's what that's for them, and they get money for it. That's the thing.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
you get paid for these kinds of things.
Pretty well. I mean, not,
We
not
don't get
bad.
paid a whole lot for the kind of stuff we do because we do a lot of like house shows, or we'll do like
Yeah.
DIY venues where it's like touring bands from out of town. It's like
Mhm.
I don't want to get paid for that kind of stuff because it's me playing for 35 minutes,
Yeah.
for a band that's spending all of their money trying to get across America. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask for money for something like that. Are you kidding me? Like we can sell merch, but like that's it. Like
Yeah. You're just stoked to be there to play.
but the difference is like people are there because they want to hear you play.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
makes such a difference. Like I can't tell you how many shows I've played where it's just like, hey man, can you play this song? And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. What you could have just gotten a jukebox if this is what you were expecting. Like
We're not a DJ. We're a
we're
live
not a DJ.
band.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're a band. Like we rehearse these songs. We figure everything out. And it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I will never miss that part of my life because like it is far too much labor for not enough gratification.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
artistically, you know what I mean? And
I think it's an important part in an artist's.
I think everyone
Evolution.
should go through it. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's important.
But
You got to pay your dues a little
Point
bit.
being, it's part of the evolution. You get past
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like and we I'd paid my dues for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did too.
And,
Yeah.
I think that's enough for me to be able to appreciate what I've got now, which is like we're not rolling in it like we were. Like I was rolling in it when I was doing these like big like 3-4 hour shows every week and like doing these shows like at different bars across Kentucky and Tennessee. Like we were able to like get some money and pay for things and like like grow our band that way, but like do we really have anything to show for it? Like
A
and
little
that's
extra
something-
cash.
Yeah, extra cash. Well, yeah, cash,
Yeah.
sure, and like
That's
merchandise
about,
and
know.
stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I'd rather feel like a artist than a company. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah,
And
for
Yeah.
sure.
that's something that like the low blow has like really allowed me to do is like we're a group of people that like we're not all focused on getting rich and we're not all focused on getting money. And it's not to say that the people I played with in the past have wanted that because they haven't, but like it's just a different atmosphere. It's very like I want to be able to create something that like I've never heard before. And,
Yeah,
like make something
absolutely.
that's not any other band I've ever heard.
That's what
And-
people want to listen to.
Sure. Well, yeah. Nobody wants to hear a carbon copy or
No.
a recreation. I mean, some people do, but like, I don't know. Especially America's youth, like we're changing. Like, the culture is changing towards like people are really starting to appreciate individuality.
Yeah.
And really appreciating like, you know, these new fronts in art and music and things like that. And people like those things are becoming hot. Like that's why people don't like things like pop country. That's why people don't like things like top 20. Like because they're like sure there's some of them are bops, but like it's like there's no individuality in it. There's no you know uniqueness in it. And a lot of America's youth is like starting to realize like holy crap, like it just feels like it feels fabricated.
Yeah.
And I think that when you give artists permission, like a lot of independent labels are doing right now, to just create something completely weird and bonkers and off the wall, like that gives people permission and the culture permission to just change and grow and like completely turn into something like that it's never been before. And that's like with the Low Blow, we're trying to like take like pop music, we're trying to take soul music and emo music and like alternative stuff and just be like, yo, like there's no problem with any of these things coexisting. Like,
no, not at all.
and they never should have been like, and that's cool. Like when you go to like one of our shows, it'll be like half and half. It'll be like punks and emos and alternative kids and you know, people wearing like, you know, eyeliner and docks and things like that and black nail polish. And then the other half of it would be like people that love rap and like R&B and like electronic music and all that kind of stuff. And it all like melds together. Like our EP release show, we had people there to see Low Key and they were all like huge rap fans and like huge like R&B and soul fans.
That's amazing.
And we had like the hardcore punks and things like that and people moshing.
Yeah.
And then we had like people like from like just like everyday walks of life. We had the sorority people, we had fraternity people, we had like just college students, other music majors, people that did pop music. It was like so beautiful to be able to say that like we could play a show ideally with an emo band and then like an R&B act.
Yeah.
And like it wouldn't be weird because we
Not
would be
at
that
all.
bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sorry, that's kind of what I was trying to say is like I think it's so cool that like we're able to like ride that new front in Tennessee. I think right now as we're trying to bring like really emotional like dark music to like an R&B and soul artist like audience, you know, with a more pop and accessible sound, you know.
Or even vice versa.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you know,
like a
you
more
can do
poppy,
that.
accessible sound. Like, yeah, we played a math rock show a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
With like math rock acts. No, like, and that stuff is like Galaxy Brain shit.
Yeah.
Like, just people like just doing like these crazy 5/4 tap parts. I'm like, what are we even doing here? But like, someone came up to us and was like, you guys are the perfect balance of like you were trying something, you're doing something unique that nobody's done before.
Yeah.
But you're also accessible, and that's like so cool to me. Like. I was like, wow, you really just like laid it out for me, like exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, this is what I wanted you to say. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, because like I don't know, when you're in a room with people that are playing like seven, you know, 3, and like you're like playing.
I
like
see chords I've never even heard.
Yeah,
of.
You
yeah,
can't
literally,
dance to
they're
this.
Playing stuff that's like, well, and then we go up and we're like, baby, you know, and it's like. It feels so just like you're like, wow, like I'm so sorry to everyone that's here to see this crazy stuff, but people liked it, people dig it. It's so cool. Like I think that we're doing something right, and I feel really good about it. You know,
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
You have to be happy doing what you're doing.
I'm
If not, you're
very
doing something
very
wrong.
happy, and it goes to show that like. It's very obvious that I'm happy because I would never do this much work for any other project I've done in the past. Like, I'm a notorious procrastinator and lazy, like, you know, person that just doesn't do things that he doesn't want to really do. And that's why high school was so hard for me. But like doing stuff like this is like this is like what I was born to do. Like, to just scrape by and make like this crazy project become a reality.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I get to do that. Like. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. I'm so happy for you.
It's like I'm
I'm
getting
glad to
married.
hear all of it.
It's like I'm getting married. You know?
He's writing his vows right now.
Yes,
That's what it
I
is.
am. That's what I'm doing over here on this side. But
So what else I want to talk about is I think this was just like our actual like first meeting is the Stray session, right?
yes.
Because we'd
Yeah.
never really hung out or spoken before. And we got some video footage.
Okay.
Wait, I have it. I could show it to you, but
Okay.
whenever we did that first take
Yes.
from the Stray session, okay?
Yes.
Oh boy.
I want to know.
Rough.
Is this an intervention?
It is.
No.
Okay, great.
This is
Okay,
an
great.
intervention.
For all of us.
And we can show a clip right now. I don't know if Paul's ready or not. So do you want to count it off? You cool with that?
Wait.
One more time.
I think we need to get it a little faster than that.
Yeah, a little quicker. There it was.
Man, that clip was amazing.
I saw it.
Yeah.
But no, so the first take, it was rough.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what was so rough about it? I
everything.
didn't actually see the clip. Okay.
No. So the point of the Stray Sessions, right, is we kind of throw a bunch of musicians and people
Right.
together that haven't played together before, and see what happens.
Right.
No previous practices. We just kind of go in full hog
Right,
and just kind of
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Make it up as we go.
I was absolutely like terrified this first take. I know that because I was like, I don't know what's going on.
What were you expecting when you?
No,
I
I don't know.
Did
I
you
thought-
have any like?
I thought
you know,
there'd be at least like a small rundown of kind of like what we were doing. Well, we did kind of have a small rundown. But
somewhat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just was really not confident in my abilities that night because I was one a little sick that night.
Oh.
And two, I just barely knew the song well enough. Like, I had been listening to it, like, and I knew it, but like, I'm really slow at learning new songs. I don't know why. I think it's because I have like countless years of 3-hour show playlists
Yeah.
stuck
It's
in my head.
blocked up.
Yeah, it's I just need I want to like clear the slate and just like have an empty head and just learn like know my low blow songs and that's it.
Yeah.
What's important right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, I thought it was so beautiful because, like we said, and you can watch this on YouTube. We covered
Right.
"Nothing from Nothing" by Billy Preston.
Great song.
And amazing song. But none of us had ever played together before. No previous practices. We just went in there
Right.
and kind of went for it.
Right.
And
a lot of musicians.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of us.
So it took us I think like maybe 6 or 7 takes. And
Yeah.
then the last
yeah.
one we
it
got.
wasn't a crazy long night though.
No, it wasn't.
No.
And we ended up getting a really cool take. But
Yeah,
I thought it was so awesome how it started from. I mean, it was just falling apart
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah, we were getting
Pretty
nothing
much.
from nothing.
Yeah, you got that right.
But the clip that we're gonna show is the camera's on you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
you can see in your face just the what
The
have I
sheer
gotten
fear,
what have I
or
gotten myself
sheer
into?
sheer fear. I
Yes.
said sheer fear.
No, we'll have to show it to you though. 'Cause,
I do want to see this because I guarantee I'll probably laugh when I see how scared I was.
I laugh when I see it every time.
I'm like, nothing from nothing. Is that what it's like? Is that more probably?
I
what
don't
it's
even
like.
think it was that. It was just the beginning of us trying to play the intro
Yeah.
and failing miserably.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And you were like-
yeah, I remember that part. I was like, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a long night.
Yeah.
Well, and like, I think I remember when you started singing and you started playing your solo. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good night.
Okay.
I was more so worried that like it just wasn't gonna gel, and like the second take, it was like pretty, it gelled
It
pretty.
was a
well.
little more solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more solid.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Gotta have something if you wanna be with me. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Gotta have something if you wanna be with me.
But
Let's
that's
got the kinks out.
yeah. Well, that's kind of the scary thing about it, is
Yeah.
because we don't know if it's gonna gel or not.
Yeah. Well, I was like, when I was like showing up, and I was like, I was very scared because I was like, I wonder if they all know the song really well and they already have it rehearsed. I'm just walking here to do a vocal take. And I felt a little bit better, but also simultaneously worse when it didn't go well. I was like, oh shit, we're gonna be here a long time, but at least I'm not the only one that's definitely not, on it. But it ended up turning out so fun, and like, I was having the time of my life with y'all. Like it was a lot of fun. I missed playing that style of music.
Because that's kind of what you did with Mopai.
That's
right?
exactly what I did with Mopai.
Yeah.
Like we do Stevie Wonder. We would do, I mean, a lot of Stevie Wonder, a lot of, we never did Billy Preston. We ended almost doing Billy Preston, but it was a lot of, 70s R&B kind of stuff and blues and funk and stuff. And getting to do that kind of stuff again in that sort of environment was like, wow, this is like both like a reckoning back to a weird time in my life, but also a reminder of my roots.
but it's cool because you got to come into it as who you are now. Because you said you've kind of had this awakening vocally.
Sure.
So being able to come in and do it this way.
Yeah,
is
I finally
totally different.
learned how to not destroy my voice. Which towards the end of Mopai, I was like in a place where it was like pretty acceptable how I was singing. I would just over sing. That was a thing I had for a long time. Is I would the thing about blues music is it gives you a lot of permission to just like do whatever the hell you want vocally. Oh yeah, and that's like a really bad thing.
Yeah,
it's a good and a bad thing.
It's a good thing because like you can experiment, but also like it's a bad thing because it's like there's no melody really to a blues like especially older blues song. There's no melody. It's not like there's a melody to Stormy Monday. There's not a melody to Have You Ever Loved a Woman. It's just like, have you ever loved a woman? Like just like whatever. Like just like singing in a blues scale. Like it's like literally how you sing a blues song. And with Mopai, it was just like, hey, like just sing the song and you can do whatever you want. And I was like, okay.
As long as the lyrics are in the right place.
Yeah, as long as you're singing in the scale, like you're singing right. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to do everything.
and so, then I did.
And then I would sing like falsetto stuff. I would do like riffing and all that stuff. And I would just over sing just like so much. And it was just like, if I was watching me right now doing Mopai stuff, like if after this I went to a bar and saw Mopai performing with me vocalizing at the front, I'd be so annoyed. I'd be like, oh my God, this kid does not shut up with these riffs. And like, because it wasn't like I was good at riffing. I would just like do it. And then it would be like a botched riff every time. And I would try it over and over again and whatever.
But it was a good
it's like when a guitar,
field.
It's like when a guitar player learns a new lick and they're just like diddle-a-doo, 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 and doing the same thing. It was that, but it was like for like a year.
Hey, sometimes we can milk that.
No, hey,
we
I
can
mean,
milk
I
that
play
for our entire life.
I play the same licks I played when I was like 17, so like I haven't gotten better.
But you know what works, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta space more stuff in between it.
Right. Honestly, the only things I've gotten better at since I was like 18 on guitar, and I'm like 20 now, is like the only thing I've gotten better at is like rhythm. Like writing rhythm parts and then like tapping. And I don't mean like I mean like that like Midwestern emo kind of like slide tapping stuff kind of stuff. That was a horrible vocalization of what it was.
No, I got
like American football kind of stuff, like the multiple fingers tapping. I've gotten good at that kind of stuff, but yeah, before that I was like it was the same all the time on the guitar because it's all I had to play. So I just kind of did that for like 4 years and then never got better.
Except for now.
And now I'm doing American football stuff, which is fun. Y'all listen to American football?
I don't think I have, actually.
I think you'd like it.
I love the American football broadcasts on NBC.
Yeah, you guys have watched American football?
That's the one with the ball like this, right?
Yeah.
Like this? I'm not
that
sure.
one, right?
It looks like Hey Arnold, right?
Yeah. It's the Hey Arnold ball, right? Yeah, no, they're good. They're good, man. Check them out.
Check
them out, y'all.
There you go. We'll tag them in.
That's a recommendation.
That
actually segues perfectly.
There you go.
Into our guest segment, a little game called "What in the World Are You Listening to?"
Okay, so I'm guessing this
Currently.
is where I
Surprise.
tell you what I listen to.
Yes, this is whatever the last thing you've listened to.
I'm gonna pull.
We're gonna
can
go
I pull
round
up
table style.
I'm gonna pull up my my Spotify.
I'm ready.
This is exactly what Rufus did.
Yes.
No, because I don't remember to listen to. I was listening to. Okay, so this is gonna be a hard recommendation, and by hard I mean I really could not recommend them enough. There's this Nashville-based band called Better Off. I don't know the guys. They don't know me. We know people that know. I know people that know them, and they know people that know me, but they don't know me. But they're a group called Better Off, and they're based out of Nashville. They just released an album called Reap What You Sow, and their music is amazing. Like if you are into like early 2000s emo alternative stuff, like Boys Like Girls kind of stuff, or like All American Rejects, that kind of stuff, and you want to hear it in like an updated, non-corny way, like Better Off is like one of the best records of this year so far. Definitely listen to Better Off. I've been listening to a lot of hardcore music.
I like to hear that.
Nina Simone. I've been listening on some Nina Simone stuff, particularly her covers. She has an album of covers called Here Comes the Sun, and it's featuring Here Comes the Sun, the Beatles classic, and it's just beautiful. I have it on vinyl. I've been listening to it on Spotify, though, which is just like a slap in the face to my parents getting me that vinyl. And then I've been listening to Foxing, which is another really good kind of like alternative, like pop emo group that's kind of been I don't know where they're based out of, but I'm like just now getting into them, and they're really good. So I listen to a lot of like alternative music now. Kind of when I was writing the EP, I was listening to a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
I listened to to be like completely frank, I listened to an ungodly amount of Rage Against the Machine
every day when I woke up.
No, I think I pretty much still do listen to them every day.
That's the only way to do it.
That's okay, though.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're amazing
and intense and super potent and just
so much
super,
staccato.
Oh my God, so Zach De La Roca, the lead singer, is just so like intense. Like
his delivery is
because he's so passionate about what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with that political side of it or not, like Rage Against the Machine, if you watch any of their live videos, like you can see Zach just like on the brink of like angry tears because he's so mad. And like there's this one performance from the 90s of the song Killing in the Name of, which is about like police brutality and things like that, and he like opens it up and he's like, they use force to make you do what the deciders have decided you must do. And he's like shaking, and he says like four times, and the audience is just like, yeah, I can't wait to hear this song. And he's like, no, listen, they're making you, and they're like, yeah, this is gonna be great.
Hey, sing the song, come on.
Yeah, because like that was back in the 90s and nobody cared about
No,
politics.
I think I've actually watched that performance before.
It's like the most, like one of their most iconic things, and it's so crazy, dude. It's oh my God, it's so sweaty and so warm looking. I was like, I would die on stage. That's what would happen. If I was there, I would die in the audience too, because I would just be like, this is amazing.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, Rage Against the Machine, and then like Better Off, and then Foxing.
Yeah.
Dalton.
Oh, I'm next.
Your turn. Yeah, I get to go last this time.
Oh, because it's your game, right?
Yeah, it is my game.
I've been listening to a lot of Sloth Rust recently.
Sloth Rust.
Yeah, the band's called Sloth Rust, but they're like, it's this female-fronted band.
Yeah.
And they're like alternative grunge. But it's just a 3-piece.
Very weird.
Yeah. Really really cool instrumentation. Her guitar playing is very unique.
Wow.
I recommend
It's not
it.
what anyone would call like good.
It's
but it's like it's really good for what they use it for.
No, I think that's really cool.
Like she's not trying to be like, some guitar god or anything.
Sure.
No, but I think she like uses these inversions when she's playing. I don't
That's
know.
cool.
It's just really neat.
It's they have very interesting voicings in the way she does things. And
That's cool.
How she plays.
Sloth
gets the point
Rust.
across.
Yeah, Sloth Rust. It makes me think of like an 80s hair metal band, the name,
Yeah.
but they're actually
very,
really
very
Such a
not
cool
that.
name. Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't even know what to think when I hear Sloth Rust. Those are
Sloth
two
Rust.
very different things in one space.
Two things that should never coexist.
Yeah.
I heard I saw them live whenever we went to go see Highly Suspect for the first time. They opened up.
Oh,
for
wow,
them,
that's
and,
cool.
They were really really cool. So check them out. I've also this is cliche, but I've been listening to a lot of Elvis recently.
Oh, no kidding.
I just listened to like the 50 Greatest Hits album,
Right
and kind of getting past the pop and glam. There's a lot of really just great lyrics in his songs.
Yeah.
Same with Johnny Cash too. I've been
Johnny
getting into
Cash,
him too. Yeah. That's so cool though. Like What would you say your favorite song that you've heard by Elvis that you weren't aware of before?
Oh man, I didn't know about the song "Hard Headed Woman." Have you heard that one before?
I've never been into Elvis.
Really?
Like, not because like I've like listened to him and just not liked it. I just never got into it.
Yeah.
It's
one of those things that's kind of daunting because he's got a humongous catalog.
That's me with the
massive.
Beatles too. People are like, "Oh yeah, like get into the Beatles." I'm like, I didn't grow up with them.
Do you know how hard
Yeah.
that is?
I'm scared to like just listen
I have
to
to
the
sit
Beatles.
down for like 36 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I have to get into them, and I'm like, oh my god, what if I don't like it? What if I don't? What if I'm just not a Beatles
Is
fan?
everyone gonna hate me if I
Hey,
say
you know
that?
Dude,
what?
people,
That's
you'd be
all
surprised.
right.
I know people that don't like the Beatles, and like they're ostracized by their friends because they
Yeah.
don't like the Beatles.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
So,
know
like-
what? I'm one of them. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but
Okay, well, this podcast just got removed from Facebook.
yeah, I know.
And
They kicked us
YouTube,
off.
everything is gone.
You just
What
got
it-
reported. Your profile got
Yeah.
reported.
They're gonna kill me now.
Yeah.
But it's all right because one of my I'll let you finish, but then I'll get into what I was.
Oh, I mean,
gonna
that was
say.
pretty much it.
That was
I was just I was really digging on the.
Yo, I'm gonna let you finish. But
I was digging
that's how that felt.
the simplicity and I don't know. He just has a certain way about his voicings and his lyrics.
He was a heartthrob for a reason.
Yeah. That's it. Elvis.
All
There
right.
you go.
Well, my one that I was listening to, I've got two, but one of them was George Harrison.
Oh,
And George
perfect.
Harrison is the reason I don't like the Beatles because I love George Harrison.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I thought you
kind
were
of,
saying,
the
I
opposite.
listened to him because I hate him so much, and I
Yeah,
just
no.
had to hear.
I hate him because he's so
I
talented.
fuel my rage every time, and it makes me feel good. No,
Mhm.
I love George Harrison as a solo artist
Got you.
way too much. So it just because he never got as much recognition in the Beatles as I think he should have. Because
My dad's a huge George Harrison fan too, over the Beatles.
yeah,
So I.
Paul and John were like they were just kind of standouty guys. But you know,
Stealing the limelight.
it's
Yeah,
whatever.
that's it, man.
The second one,
We don't
though,
talk about Ringo though. We don't
yeah,
talk
no,
about Ringo.
no one talks about
No,
Ringo.
no, no.
He's living large off of the royalties and his all-star band.
And he has those circular glasses he wears all
yes.
the time.
Oh, that's true.
and his weird large nose.
He's always had that thing, right?
Yeah.
Since birth, it's
Since
crazy.
birth.
I don't know. Over the years, I think he's added on to it. He
He's
just kind of
getting-
packed some more
It's the
skin in
reverse
there.
rhinoplasty. They
Yeah.
just put extra rhino on there.
I need more Ringo.
Ringoplasty.
Yeah.
All that.
Oh, that sounds terrible. The new fascinating plastic surgery sweeping the nation. Ringoplasty. Now, the second one is
I like it. That's good.
I have never I'm like a fan of heavy metal,
Sure.
but I haven't like delved into a bunch of heavy metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down and I just like listened to way too much Mastodon
Got you.
and
Yeah.
really dug it
Right on.
because all of their stuff, at least the early stuff, was very like conceptual too.
I
And it
don't
was-
listen to a whole lot of Mastodon. I have friends that listen to them.
Yeah.
Are they more like do they do
the
dirty vocals or do they do clean vocals?
early stuff was kind of more scream type stuff.
Got you.
But they evolved and they've got a lot more melody in it now.
Got you. Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
is cool
that's so
stuff.
cool. I like it when people get into that stuff because I'm new to the hardcore stuff too. Like I listened to it when I was like in or when I was like in middle school and then like
Yeah.
stopped and then
To rebel.
yeah like because it was like super like edgy and like nobody like understood them but now like I'm getting back into it kind
Yeah.
of like as an adult because I'm just like this stuff is just like so sick. Like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
it's,
Well, they're
it's,
also
it's just
incredible
good.
guitar players.
yeah,
as
incredible
well.
Yeah.
guitar players, and the vocals just take so much control, like so much control and energy, and just like it's like an energy thing too. Like the
Yeah.
front man of these kinds of bands, like if you, especially like a hardcore show, like if you go to Nashville, you'll meet these like vocalists like off stage, and they're all like, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Melvin, like
Yeah.
you know, like and they're like, I like reading books and like all that stuff, and then they'll go on stage and they'll be like, I want you all to kill each other, and you're just like, oh my god, I think I have to kill that guy, like I think I have to, like
Melvin said so.
That's their outlet, though.
yeah,
man.
I know.
That's what's so cool.
It's so cool. So the guitar player for the Low Blow is starting a band called Florida Man,
Oh my
Oh.
god.
and it's a hardcore band. So I totally like took off.
No.
Is it
going
to be a meme band?
No, it's so they talked about it for a while being a meme band, but really they said we're gonna do like really good hardcore music. It's just that the name Florida Man gives us permission to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Like and Connor is like one of the most nice, like, he's just like he's like he's my best friend. I've known him for, he was in Mopai with me.
Oh, okay.
And he actually played that show with us, that you guys, the first show you ever saw for us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
And so he's been doing this with me for like 7 years now. And maybe almost 8. Yeah, almost 8. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. But
Long time.
he's like always been like a super, like he'll tell you this. He's a nerd. Like he's like just like huge Star Wars fan. He loves making literary references in his jokes that no one gets, and like he wanted to call us Legion of Horribles based off of a Cormac McCarthy novel, and I was like, what? And like he's just like, he's funny, like, and he's just like super like chill with just being like dorky, and like that's like his thing, and like but he wants to be he doesn't want to be, he's going to be the front man of this band called Florida Man, and he'll talk about like eating people's faces off on stage.
That's beautiful.
And I'm just like, that's so sick. Like, I wish I could do that. Like, I wish I could go on stage and just be like, murder! Like, and like people just be like, oh my God. Like, it's so cool.
Murder me.
Yeah. Like literally. Well, and like, that's so, the weird thing about going to hardcore shows is you're just like, I don't know why, but like, you just kind of want the lead singer to just kill you. Like, you're just kind of like, I don't know if I want to be murdered, but like if anyone were to do it, I kind of want it to be this guy on stage, because he's got the energy of just like this like death god of some sort. Like, it's just insane. Like, and some guys don't have that energy. They're just like super awkward. But if you get the right band, like they'll just walk across the stage like they're just like expecting you to do something, and you're like, I think I better punch the guy next to me, or like I better push the guy next to me and start a pit. I think that's what should happen. And that's like happened at several shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty sick. And that's something that hardcore bands have on every other genre, is that they just know they can command a crowd with just like a look.
Menacing
yeah.
aura.
It is, they have an exactly, it's an aura. And that's something like the low blow, like I don't think we'll ever be able to do, because I have like the energy of like, I don't know, I have the energy of like a watermelon lemonade or something like that. I'm just like, I come out there, I'm like, hey, listen. And then like a hardcore
Put
band,
that on a shirt.
I have the energy of a watermelon lemonade. Probably a strawberry lemonade. I'm not that niche to be a watermelon
I don't
lemonade.
know. I love watermelon lemonade.
Me too.
I've had it
Do
like
you dump
twice in my
salt in it
life.
too? Is
You-
it like
Oh,
you would have
hey,
to.
That's actually sounds really good.
Yeah.
I want a
that's,
watermelon.
it's slowly
lemonade.
becoming a margarita.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
know what?
But
And
Not
then
too
just
bad.
add alcohol.
I'm not gonna get over that for a while now.
Yeah,
No.
that can be the
Watermelon lemonade.
tagline for this.
that's
for
gonna
this
keep you up
podcast.
tonight.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of like your shtick, though. Like when you're on stage, you
Yeah.
just have that like humbleness about you, and I think people respect that, and that's why they like it.
I think, I think my delivery is very delayed and very subdued on stage, and I kind of like it. It's fun for me, because I don't have to be like super charismatic on stage and be like, hey everyone, we're the low blow, listen to our, like, it's more just like, hey, here's a song that we wrote.
Yeah.
And it just I don't have to do anything. I let the music speak for itself. I don't have to be a marketer and like, hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Well, you're just being you. And that's what people like.
Yeah. I don't like the versions of myself that I've put in the past where I've tried to be this super extroverted and energetic person, but I'm just not that way. Like, I'm just like, I talk to people that I want to talk to, and then like if someone, I'm not gonna like not talk to somebody because they talk to me, like, but I'm not gonna like be the person to go up and be like, hey, what's up with you guys? What are you doing? I'm approachable, but like I'm not like the guy that's like the life of the party, and I'm comfortable with that, like more now as an adult than I ever was in high school.
Yeah.
You know, I thought because I was a funny person, quote, air quotes, for those who are just listening, funny person. I think I had this impression in my mind that I had to be super like, just like, oh my God,
Outgoing all the time.
this guy has got it covered. He can command a room, and I've never had that energy, or when I tried to, it was just like, it went very poorly. So I feel a lot better now just being the way I am.
Yeah.
And the low blow is a place where I can do that and be a watermelon lemonade on stage
You heard it here first.
with a nautical theme.
And only 5 colors.
I'm a little sailor.
That's on the back of the shirt.
Yeah.
On the front.
Also a little
Watermelon
sailor.
and a little sailor.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect place to end the podcast. This has
what we
been
leave you
great,
with.
Patrick.
Hey,
Thanks for
y'all,
being
thank
here.
you for having me. I was thinking when you said 2 hours, I was like, oh my God, there's no way.
Well, we're pushing 2:45.
Yeah, I
so.
see that. Yeah, no. I thank you so much for having me on here, and I
Yeah,
feel eternally grateful
Yeah.
for being a part. No, seriously, this is awesome. I don't get to talk about this stuff very often, so it means a lot that you guys had me on here.
we were happy to listen, and
Yes.
we covered a lot of
We were
good
hungry to
ground.
listen.
Yeah,
we
Yes.
did cover a lot of stuff, so yeah, you can release it in episodic
Oh,
form.
no, we're
Nah.
releasing the
It's
whole
long
thing in
form,
its
The whole
Alrighty.
entirety.
thing.
If
This
anybody has questions about Patrick Long, now you know where.
This is the place.
point
Oh
and,
yeah, let's open it up to the audience. Let's do the live Q&A feed right now.
Can they do that? No. But,
No.
but if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Put
And
them
I
in that
will
comment
down there.
section.
And I will be in the comments tirelessly answering your questions.
Personally from Patrick
I'll
Long.
DM you
Every
and I'll
single
say,
one.
listen, here's the answer.
And in about a week, he'll have the shirts for sale on the front,
Yes.
watermelon lemonade, and in the back, he's a little tiny sailor.
Actually, so this is totally unironic, and I won't take very long to say this.
No,
we
no.
actually will be putting more low blow merchandise out very soon. So if you are a fan of us and you want to get merchandise, we will be posting our Teespring online, and we will also be selling live merch at our shows. Not live merch. Our merchandise isn't like a living. Like we're not going to be giving kittens away with the low blow sprayed on them.
I wish.
Now that would be great.
No, that'd be kind of
Man.
sick actually, but it would be very cruel. So we're not going to do that.
as
but
long
we'll-
as they're going to good homes, then it's
yeah,
fine.
they're going to, yeah. Like we'll do a background check before we
Right,
get to buy the
right.
kittens, but
It's really in depth.
it's a nightmare. But it's a PR nightmare. But yeah, we will have more merch available, and stay tuned for this next album that will be coming up pretty
Yeah,
soon.
so tell them where they can find your music and
We're
you know,
on
all that fun stuff.
Spotify and iTunes and Google Play and YouTube and maybe Pandora. I don't know. We're on everything.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Instagram at _low_blow and also on Facebook / the low blow band, I think. But
Oh.
that's also probably not accurate. So just go on Facebook
Just
and
search
look.
the low blow. It's like
We'll have it. We have it. You guys can probably tag or put the URLs in
Oh
there.
yeah, we
but,
can do that.
Definitely follow us and find us on YouTube too. We have some cover videos up there too if you want to check us out. So yeah, thank you guys for having me.
I love the boot up cover. That was great.
Thank you. That
That's
was
great.
that was a late night.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, because you guys did all of it. You did the editing. You
We did the
audio
editing, the
recording,
mixing,
and-
everything. Yeah, it was also a nightmare. No, it was
But a fun nightmare.
It was a fun nightmare, as all good nightmares are.
Truly.
Truly, all good nightmares are fun nightmares.
I see Freddy every night. He haunts my dreams, but I love him. What a guy.
Which Freddy are you talking about?
You know, the long nails one.
Right.
Nails, yeah.
Right. A little scary.
And then the mustache Freddy, too.
That's the better kind of dream.
Hey-o. Anyways.
Thanks for being here, Patrick, and thank you guys for listening. That's it. That's all we got.
That's it.
We'll talk at you next week.
We'll see you next week. I'll be here again.
Yes.
I'll be on every episode.
For 6 hours next time.
Yeah.
He's just a permanent fixture here from
Yes.
now on.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Hey, I love you.
Love you too.
No one's ever said it back before.